today we have alumni with us and current students that will present some of their work that they just finished with. We'll have time for Q&A and conversations, and yeah, feel free to chime in to take, like part of the conversation. We're always super, super excited for that. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Pavlina Vardulaki prior. I'm the creative director of the program. I'm super excited to be here with you today because this is something that was always a great passion for DesignMorphine, and the program has been really like an amazing experience for us. So a little bit again about DesignMorphine. DesignMorphine began its journey in 2014, and since then it has become a platform for connecting with designers worldwide, empowering them and igniting their passion for collaborative design. We've had the honor of educating thousands of professionals and supporting their growth within some of the world's leading companies. DesignMorphing is a catalyst of collaboration with individuals and organizations we deeply admire, both personally and professionally. Our core team of 70 talented architects and designers, along with a network of partner organizations, enables a truly multidisciplinary approach to design and education across a wide spectrum of applications. While we are rooted in academia, we are also active practitioners, which brings a unique versatility and real-world relevance to everything we do. Microsoft, Pininfarina, Logitech, World are some of the world's leading companies we collaborate with closely, while some of our educational partners include Harvard, MIT, NYIT, and now the VSU Sofia. We began 11 years ago with workshops across global cities, creating deep impact through community and craft. Our teaching goes beyond tools, though. It challenges students to strive for excellence in everything they do. And as a close-knit community, we support each other's personal growth. At DesignMorphine, computational design is a foundational pillar shaping how we teach, create, and innovate. Our students' work spans scales and industries from jewelry design, architecture to large-scale installations, all driven by experimental workflows and boundary-pushing ideas. We're deeply committed to both virtual design and physical fabrication, and we see computational design as the bridge between them. It enables automation, data-driven decisions, and modular thinking that applies across disciplines. And if you're interested in learning more about DesignMorphing or newest endeavors, you can always check our social media. We also post our Master of Science students' work through Instagram and social media. So that's a great way to keep in touch. In 2021, we started DesignMorphine's most exciting endeavor. It's worldwide recognized and accredited Master of Science in Computationally Augmented Design. This program fuels growth through cross-disciplinary experimentation and adapts each year to keep pace with the rapid evolution of computational design and AI. We have the privilege to have more than 100 alumni. The program is organized in a unique way with 5 leading design chapters and 5 supporting technical labs that span over 9 months. The chapters are the pillars of the program. They're around 4 to 6 weeks long, each one of those. These chapters from the program's conceptual spine, they're starting with the body and expanding outward to systems like furniture, vehicles, infrastructure, and urban design, creating new worlds. While labs play a vital supporting role to the chapters, they're shorter, around 1 to 2 weeks long, and are strategically positioned to boost students' performance during each chapter. We've introduced two optional labs, both aiming to prepare students for what comes next. One is Career Blueprint, and one is working with industry partners. In Career Blueprint, we basically give the students information, and we're helping them to build their CVs, portfolios, and try to give them any kind of help, provide any help that we have, like on that front. Well, with our close partnership with industry partners, really help the students create a portfolio that goes beyond the classroom, connecting with global leaders in order to get exposed to real industry practices. The program is recognized amongst the best computational design programs worldwide by Parametric Architecture, and we've also had the honor to have the program and our students' work featured in the zine. I'm just going to share a quick video with you guys about one of the projects that was created a couple of years ago to get a glimpse of what is created at the end of the academic year. All these chapters and
Do
labs
you
and
want to be
everything
happy?
collectively comes
Do you want to
to
just give up
create a
everything
video
and
like
start a
this
new
at the
life?
end of the year.
Join us at the Cyborg Republic, and you can experience euphoria with us. Join us, you can forget all your worries. Join us, you can end all your sufferings. Join us, you deserve to be happy at the Cyborg Republic. We have everything for you men to enjoy. You can get yourself clean, you can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. At the Cyborg Republic, we have a self-sustaining system providing adequate resources, so you can lay back and enjoy your best lives. Join us today at the recruitment grounds, and you'll be over the moon in no time. Limited tickets available on a first-come first-served basis, so act fast. Join the Cyborg Republic now. Join us, there's no need to feel down. Join us, there's no need to be unhappy. Join us, you deserve to live your dream. Join us, 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 join us. Join us now. Join the Cyborg Republic now. Join us, you deserve to live your dream. Join us.
Great, thank you guys for watching the video. So what makes this program different and why it works, I would just touch on a couple of points, and I'm happy to answer any questions at the end of this as well. One thing is exploring multiple industries through one lens, which is computational design, from architecture, fashion, metaverse, robotics, interiors, urbanism, vehicle design, and animation. You engage with a wide range of disciplines, all viewed through the powerful lens of computational design. And this cross-industry approach ensures your creativity and skill set remain versatile and highly employable. 0 to advanced, that's a very important aspect of the program. Within 9 months, we've always specialized in teaching computational design software, and that's what we're doing like with the masters here with 15 industry standard software tools, and we teach people with 0 prior experience. And this is made possible through a unique, really compound pedagogical method, which I've personally developed through my PhD research that I completed this year. The Master of Science program was a pivotal moment in this research. It's basically designed for accelerated intuitive learning. And the important thing is that also this software, they don't remain stagnant. The program changes every year depending on what comes next with technology, with AI, how things are really shifting in the real industry. So things are really fluid in the way that we operate, and we change every year to keep up with being really relevant to the workforce. Um, a huge part also of design morphing, because we are a network, we're a community, it's not just a university. You basically have access to 30 plus world-class mentors. You learn directly from educators and mentors who bring real-world experience from top-tier companies and institutions like Nike, MIT, accredited, Microsoft, and more. And it's really a great experience to work so closely with professionals that are really using these skills every day in their field. They're not just academics, and that really makes a huge difference. Every project and presentation includes our broader community and gives visibility to our students. And they give amazing feedback, and also sometimes, like, this comes with job opportunities. Students have received offers before graduating before. The online flexible program, and basically like financially smart option. The program is designed as a fully online educational experience, and this is giving a maximum flexibility with no extra relocation, living expenses, model making, or anything that comes with it. And this year, we were able also to have the tuition significantly reduced thanks to our strategic partnership with the VSU Sofia, making it more accessible. We also have a distinctive lifelong community, which is again like what makes design morphing special. Above all, this is a disruptive, fearless space of global design, and that continues to support the students' growth long after they graduate. We even have a Discord channel, and we post opportunities there and support the students with any questions or anything that they need even after graduation. Also, our alumni are also always invited in any kind of industry endeavors that we have each year. So it's really joining a creative community that builds and learns and evolves together. Some information about what is next from the program, from what we've seen in the past 4 years. We've had obviously alumni returning and teaching a design morphing and being part of the design morphing network, and we're very proud of that. We also see students working with architecture, urbanism, fabrication in some companies like Zahadit, Mad Architects, Aedas, Dar Al Hardasan, Nagami, Philip Baisley. But also, like we have students that are changing industries. They're working now with film, VFX, metaverse innovation. So one of the world's top VFX studios, DNEC, that it's a creator of Dune, Blade Runner, 2049, Inception, Interstellar, as well as Moonray, Sensory Orbit, Illuser, which are key players in, again, like immersive digital environments. We have also gaming, metaverse again, in interactive worlds. With Ubisoft, again, that's the developer of Assassin's Creed that many of you might know, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, Wilder World. It's a great partner of ours, and it's one of the really top 5 metaverse platforms that is being developed worldwide. And as well as performance, innovation, footwear. That's something that our students have been interested in, and they keep growing there with New Balance, Hoka, Nike, Bombardier. So global leaders really in sportswear performance and design. Um, We really emphasize our collaborative design practices, and here is a glimpse into our students' trips to Microsoft in New York, Logitech, Pininfarina, and as well as our Sofia graduations in Bulgaria, where our accrediting university is. With the Microsoft Garage, really drawing from, we've created an amazing workshop drawing from Mike Pell's Smart Information book, and our research uncovered the invisible urban data and translated it into computational systems that optimize the user experience of New York. So that was something very fun to do. And as you see, something that you might not think that, the students might be equipped to do with this program, but because of the versatility, the programs, and the most important part, the way of thinking, like the students are equipped really to think blue sky through any kind of innovative, and forward thinking products, no matter if they're in a virtual, real world, or again, like they're really building systems. So that has been a really great experience collaborating with the Microsoft Garage. And we also had an amazing experience with Microsoft because we were a part of their annual hackathon a couple of years back. And that was about the creation of an advanced system for collaborative interaction. And this was presented to Microsoft leadership. DesignMorphine was the sole external partner invited to contribute to this strategic initiative and collaborate with Microsoft employees for the creation of this product. So again, real-time implication, working like with again like Microsoft employees in order to create a product, pitch a product to their leadership. Pininfarina, they've been partners of ours for many years. What is special about Pininfarina is that it's a legendary design studio behind decades of Ferrari's most iconic vehicles, and as well as innovators in architecture and product design. They are really multidisciplinary, and there's something that, like it's a very interesting model that they're having in the way that they are producing and working with design, because like they span on so many different industries. And students were invited to reimagine the future across all these disciplines, working with transport, space, object through advanced computational strategies. Again, a great partnership. We were there, like in Turin, Italy, and it was really an amazing experience to be sharing this with Pininfarina's leadership and team. Another amazing partner has been Logitech in Cork, Ireland. We had some of our students just return from there. Great global leader in human-centered product design and digital interfaces. Probably most of you are using something from this company. Our students have led 3 forward-facing workshops and sparked significant interest across the company, including direct engagement from Logitech's head of design. The work it's explored really future interaction models, speculative designs, new workflows powered by computational design, and they have, they're very looking forward to really like us being part of their workshops and their community, and we keep returning there every year because of this great partnership we have with them. And lastly, I would like to share like some of the information about our graduation in Sofia, Bulgaria. Our in-person graduation ceremonies are more than just a celebration. They're really a unique opportunity for alumni and current students to meet, connect, and strengthen a truly global design network. And they're really a lot of fun. So I will leave you with this small video here.
Join us
you guys. It's really a pleasure going through an overview here of DesignMorphine. I'll stop sharing, give the word now to Michael to talk more about the day-to-day and program logistics and go through the website.
Hello. Firstly, on our website, all the information, I know there's a lot of information there, but kind of run through, if you go onto our site, you can get a lot of kind of information in the beginning, you know, about our background and kind of description of the course and the kind of idea we have about the course, and then kind of technical information. It's a Master of Science in Computationally Augmented Design, which is, to put simply, in the other way, it's design which is augmented by computational methods. So you'll be doing all kinds of design at different scales, which integrates and embeds computational practices. It's 60 ECTS credits. And there's actually two pathways this year. There's pathway 1, which is the Master of Science degree, which is the actual accredited degree. And then there's substantially discounted pathway 2, which is the same exact program, but without resulting in a degree. This is for people that maybe are not interested in receiving the accredited degree or don't have the requirements met to actually obtain a master's degree, that you can still be part of the program, and again, essentially discounted. So this is a new option that we're having this year. We also have a new partner, new partner accrediting university this year, BSU Sofia, which thanks to them, we were able to significantly lower the tuition for the entire program in general, which is really cool. We're very happy about that. Now, in the beginning details, you'll have the open day. So this open day that we're doing right now will actually be replaced here once this is done today. So you can recap and see all this information. And before going into this, just want to mention that if you have any quick questions on our site, you have contact. You can always contact us directly through there. You can also, important one, you can also schedule a meeting if you want a one-on-one Zoom meeting with Pavlina. A lot of, potential students do this. So you can have a one-on-one Zoom meeting, ask whatever questions you want, and have a nice meeting there. Yeah, just to figure out what you might be thinking about there. And then obviously our socials, and you can subscribe to our mailing list just to stay up to date more easily. Now about the program, the program is broken down into 5 chapters and 5 labs with 2 optional labs. So the main program is the 5 chapters. And basically what you're doing in this program is you're learning how to use computational design and its methodologies across a gradient of scales, which amounts to basically kind of world building. So you're starting kind of inward and working your way out. So the first step is the prosthesis. So in the prosthesis, you're basically designing and developing the kind of character of your scenario. So in here, you're doing kind of a research and development of a new kind of being or creature, which will be the kind of the catalyst of everything else you design in the program around. So it's an interesting challenge because you'll create something that's not human, and then as you move through the program, have to develop, well, what does this kind of being like? How does the situation look like? What does its vehicular structure look like? What does its community structure look like? But all of this is really focused on giving you something to aim your studies and your and guide your kind of procedural and computational thinking about what kind of methods to research after. So that's the first chapter, prosthesis, where you'll be creating a being, and it's mostly focused on more manual stuff in the beginning. So you're learning about polygonal modeling and mesh sculpting, destructive and non-destructible workflows, organic and hot surfing modeling, just kind of learning the basics in a kind of hands-on way about 3D software. The next chapter after that is called corpuscle. And so the corpuscle is the kind of main, let's say, living or dwelling unit of your character, based on the concept of the kind of world you're developing. And so it becomes really interesting because depending what your character is, you have to think a bit outside the box in new and inventive ways, because again, it's not a human, so you're not, designing, the kind of traditional things that you may know, like, for instance, it might be a different kind of environment. The character, you have to think about, well, how does the character move through this space? I mean, probably does it might not need, traditional stairs or, traditional doors as we know them. So you kind of have to rethink kind of everything you know about space. And this gives you a lot of interesting opportunities on kind of algorithms and computation to explore. And in here, in this chapter, we'll be getting into Blender and Houdini. So you start to mix into this mesh modeling, you start to mix into procedural and node-based methods and practices. And then on the next chapter after that is amalgamation. So in amalgamation, it's more about the kind of community aspect of this role and this kind of species and world, where you're using the previous chapter units along with other developed units and spaces to develop kind of little mini communities and understanding how the kind of social aspects of this being works, which again is all created by you. And what's interesting about that is, again, because this world and the concepts are created by you, it forces you to think about interesting and unique kind of connectivity algorithms. So how things connect to other things, how are things related to each other and situated to each other. And in this chapter, you are moving into Grasshopper and Rhino, but primarily Grasshopper, and looking at kind of self-assembly algorithms, aggregate algorithms, automatic arrangement algorithms. And so things start to really take off in a very less manual way in this chapter, and you start to think as a designer in a rule-based way. So you start to design rules to guide these algorithms. After that, we have after that, there's the kinesis chapter. So kinesis is about infrastructure and vehicular design. So once you have your little neighborhood, you're then kind of adding a layer of infrastructure and travel network to it. So in here, you're thinking about, how are we kind of connecting these spaces in a kind of mass public and private way, as well as developing the vehicles for your world and scenario, which again, becomes interesting because you're not just making a car, right? Like cars are for humans or planes, right? So you have to create these vehicles that fit into the world and fit into the characters that occupy your world. So um, just as the previous chapters, all these things kind of force you to think in new and interesting ways that might not always be so obvious, and they open up a lot of opportunities for interesting, algorithmic thinking. So in this chapter, we step back into Houdini, but in a different and much more procedural based way. And the last chapter is cosmogony. So in cosmogony, you're kind of going again outward and making a big map, basically, of your larger world. And you're generating this map purely through algorithm. Um, and this chapter focuses on Grasshopper plugins and C# scripting and other coding. So in here, you're learning how to actually kind of code growth and smart agent behaviors and utilize them to, achieve specific um, goals based on kind of planning and arrangement and relationships of things together to create this kind of world map. And so the labs are kind of sprinkled through at key moments through these chapters. The labs are shorter, um, week-long endeavors sprinkled throughout the program, and they're used to support different stages. So when join the program, the very first thing is actually the concept lab. And in the concept lab, we spend time developing the idea of the narrative and the story and aesthetics, both through meetings, research, AI, sketching, rough 3D modeling, and we kind of, you kind of start to develop what's going to be kind of story going forward for your project, the languages, both aesthetically and kind of communally. So yeah, so in that one is about kind of generating the story, and in the end of that, you're basically presenting a kind of single page, almost screenplay or narrative, along with supportive, imagery that's been generated there. We have the visualization lab. The visualization lab is a really important lab. If you notice, a lot of our students' works, they all kind of look very good. They're rendered very well. And so in this lab, we teach you how to make your work look good, pretty much. So in this lab is about how to render things, how to Photoshop things, just everything, kind of how to make the projects look good and how to be comfortable with that. Material selection, rendering, post-production, stylizing, this kind of aspects. We have the prototype lab. So the prototype lab teaches you how to think about your designs in a way that they can be constructed. And most students in this lab use their corpuscle chapter, and you basically learn how to take these designs and models you make, deconstruct them, part them, create joints and hinges, 3D print them, and assemble them. So you kind of learn that whole process about pretty much everything you would need to break down 3D prints and assemble this kind of objects you make. A new lab that's we're starting this year is the artificial intelligence lab. So this is, again, with the rise of kind of AI, we are looking at how to use it in a way that doesn't take over your role of designer, but enhances it. So in this chapter, in this lab, is about using the designs you've made up until the point of that lab, and creating AI visualizations and animations and videos of your designs and with your designs. So it's kind of like a piggyback off of the um, visualization lab, but with the use of artificial intelligence on top of your designs. And then we have the virtual reality lab. And the virtual reality lab is focused on Unreal Engine and kind of game, in a way, kind of game development, how to bring your models and environments into a game engine, and explore it that way to create experiences and animations and videos in these kind of playable game engines. Now we have the um, two optional labs that Pavlina mentioned. Career Blueprint. This is it's actually not a new one, but it's now kind of larger than it was and more specific. Before we were just kind of doing it, here and there, but now it's an official optional lab. And this lab will teach you how to make a proper portfolios, make proper CVs, how to interview, these kind of things. So it's kind of to help you after the fact of the masters or any pro, how to curate yourself and market yourself. And then we have the other optional lab, which is the industry partnership, which is where we usually team up with a real world company, like Logitech, for instance, which we just did recently, like a week ago, with our current students. And we go to, we get invited, we go to their offices, the students work with their team for a week, doing all kinds of different designs, and learning about, how a real kind of company operates, and designs and creates. So this is another optional, this is the optional lab. Let me just check the questions. If you have a focus, do you need to follow through each chapter? For example, I'm not good with Grasshopper. Can I focus on subdivisions? So yeah, everyone needs to go through each. Everyone needs to go through each chapter and lab. However, I can promise you that no one is good with anything for the most part. And this is kind of curated to make you comfortable and to use these softwares. However, it's not they're not so strict where it's like you have to use exactly this Grasshopper thing. You can use other software for specific needs that is also used throughout the program. It's just that those chapters are like primarily geared towards learning those specific things, but doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you're allowed to use in that chapter. And we have two questions which we'll get to. Is it possible to work full-time, include program at the same time? It's a hard question to ask. It's in our FAQ. I could see Mohammed answering them because he was one of our students who did really well and was working full-time. I mean, the working full-time versus not working, it's a hard question to answer because it's a very kind of personal question. It depends on it really depends on your work, but also depends on like your time management and skills. But I will say a lot of our students work, and I'm kind of confident to say that a lot of our best students are ones that were working as well. So I haven't personally seen uh, anything specific that's like everyone that works does bad and everyone doesn't work does good. It's like not at all like that. It's really based on the individual.
I think that, Mike, you said it very correctly. Just the difficulty of answering this question is because like it really lies like towards like the individual's like scheduling skills, like how good you are about like organizing your time, and also depends on the job, right? Like it's different if you're working 12 hours a day. It's a very different story if you're working part-time or 8 hours, and like they're just like if you're comfortable in the job that you're doing and you know what you're doing, or is it also like a challenging environment from that side. So there are just a lot of aspects to consider, but we've seen really like more than 50% of our students each year work, and like yeah, like really like some of the most amazing projects, and like students have come like in the program and they were working full time, so manageable, but it depends again on the
Yeah, I mean,
circumstances.
we've even had some kind of unicorns, some rare cases. I mean, I know two students off the top of my head that like had like 2 to 3 jobs at the same time as taking the masters and still killed it. So, I mean, it's it really depends on you as a person. It's just really hard to say. Um, now, back to the to this, and I'll keep looking at the chat as we go. Um, so partners, as Pavlina had mentioned in her presentation, but um, yeah, these are our partners listed here that we often do collaborations with. Our most recent trip with students, like I mentioned, was Logitech, but you can see our partners here who are always kind of supporting us, doing collaborations with us, meeting with students, and etc. FAQs, very important part of the page. You can see so many answers here about different things that you might be thinking about. Um, um, yeah, I think we shouldn't go through all these, but I think that everyone who's interested in the program should go through them, and check out the answers. Um, I don't know, Pavlina, is there any specifically that you wanted to point out here?
I think that the one with the the question that always like comes up, like we just discussed it about like work, right? Because it is an online master's. The other thing is that yeah, like there is no expectation of travel. Like all travel is optional. That's something that like we can just make sure that everyone is clear on that. It's a great opportunity, but again, it just depends again on the individual's
Ah, here you go.
program schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we've been trying really like to capture all the major questions that we've been getting over the years in this frequently asked questions section. So we've really put a lot of attention into answering each one of those and to be as helpful as possible. So I would say go through them. I think that it's very helpful. But then the other aspect of this is like I'm also available for a chat and to talk about the curriculum, about each individual student's goals and like questions through calendar. You can book time with me, so if there is if there is a question or you just want to chat, like I'm very happy to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can just go through these, and yeah, check them out. And let's see, networking. Yes, yeah, you'll receive degree. it's it's accredited and internationally recognized. You can see kind of what other fields this is kind of associated with: engineering, industrial design, fashion, vehicle, urban planning, animation, um, and you can see some of the places that our students have been hired after. So yeah, definitely look at all that. Also on our site, you can see our alumni page, which is our past alumni, not including the most recent year because they haven't got to that point yet to fill out their alumni information. So you can go here, you can click them. I see Mo is here today, so I'll click on his, and you can see kind of some information that they're giving about their experience in the program. You can see what year they're from in the program, etc. So that's really valuable information. Um, and then we have results where you can see this current year's finale. You can watch it right on here. The presentations, I highly suggest you check them out. And we have last year's here as well. And then we also have some example works that we're adding more to it now shortly on our site. There'll be a lot more images here, but you can just see some examples of different aspects and areas of some of the projects we've been building. And then of course, application, you know, click there and you can, open up the application page and check out all the kind of more technical and financial information and filling that out for applying. There's no application fee, so really just takes to fill it out.
Yeah, for the
So
application, just a reminder, the 1st of July, it's the early bird time frame. So if you're interested, there is no full portfolio requirement, just work samples. So that makes it much easier. And yeah, if you're interested, I'll say go for it and go through the process. And you have time to take any additional decisions later. But it's a pretty straightforward application process where we need just your documentation from previous universities if you're going for the degree, and some sample work and a couple of questions that are important for us to process your documentation in your application. So yeah, we've tried to make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible, like for you to complete this step. And if again, like you're interested, I would encourage you to do so before the first, so you take advantage of the early bird discount.
yeah, so we have a question: how long does it typically take for students to find jobs after graduation? I think this is another like tough one because it depends on a few factors. It's kind of like um, your proactivity, I think, plays a big part in this. But we've had a good amount of students hired right away, or even not even haven't even finished the program yet by some of our like people we've invited as guest crits for presentations or reviews. Like we've had, people get hired that way. Um, we have an alumni Discord also where we're posting jobs, and we're always writing, letters of recommendation and this and that for our students. So um, I would say, like for the quickness, sometimes it's a bit of uh, luck, the right critics being at presentations, but also the students' kind of proactivity in general. I would say, most of the time, just, in the real world, opportunities don't always just fall into your lap. You kind of have to be a bit proactive and kind of reach out to people, interact with people. And I think that in our program, because of the tutors we have, as well as the critics we have, I think we kind of enhance that chance a bit with those opportunities. The cost for 9 months, it varies. I mean, you have to go through the application and like see your specific requirements, because there's different kinds of discounts and other things. So I would go through the application. It actually will calculate, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
it will calculate your cost for you based on
Your choices.
your choices. Yeah.
But yeah, you can see like basically like the information, the overall information on the website. But then yeah, all the more like specific to your information is in the application. It's pretty easy like to see.
Yeah. But it's nice this year we were able to get it like a lot less, because of our new partnership. So I think we're all very happy about that. We want to make this as accessible as possible, without kind of limiting the program. I know we have very good tutors and very specific kind of tutors and all that we want to have as part of this program. Um, so I want to talk a bit about the program itself, and I'm going to start with the program. So this is the past year's students program. So don't take this at face value, because things and dates are obviously going to be different for the next year. But just so you get a general idea, this programs that we have, they're laid out by chapter and lab, and various holidays. So basically what happens for each chapter is, the chapters are more or less the same length, but depending on the chapter, there's usually, the way we start each chapter is we start with like a kind of, and I'll show in the mirror too, we give all the deliverables, we talk about what's going to happen this chapter. Basically, depending on the chapter, there's either 1 or 2 weeks at the start of the chapter where there isn't any classes, and it's more like you're developing with your team, you're developing the design, you're learning, and making progress. And then there's always for each chapter 2 weeks of classes with the tutors. So these are live classes, live online, one-on-one, and also in 2 different time zones, right? So we have 2 different time zones. Again, they might be slightly different for the next year, depending on the time zones of all the students. So don't take this, what's written here, as the exact thing. But we have 2 different time zones to accommodate students in different areas. They're both taught exactly the same way by the same people, and all the same information. So taught 2 times a day. And then after that 2 weeks of those classes, you usually have another week or 2 with no classes, again, where you're developing the design, you're developing the presentation, you're working towards the final presentation of that chapter, and then at the end of each chapter is a presentation of that chapter. The labs, which are the kind of green color here, work in a similar way, except for there's no presentation for them. So you're just doing the lab. The lab is like a week, and you're just pretty much in the lab. You're just kind of learning the specific thing of that lab. Now, when I was saying that the kind of 2 weeks, week or 2 before and after that are without classes, it doesn't mean you're kind of left alone with no guidance or help. We are and your leads of the program are available pretty much around the clock all the time to have any kind of meetings you want. We talk a lot in messaging, which I'll go into next, which is currently through Teams is where all that happens, Microsoft Teams. So pretty much through the entire dance program, you have, 24 hours a day kind of supports, I would say. Someone's always there to help and answer you. And
Yeah, you're also
so,
working with a core lead throughout the whole program. So we have our
yes.
guest tutors and educators that are plugged in into the chapters and the labs. But throughout the whole academic year, there is one dedicated core lead to your group, and they always are there to help you. So, like in the weeks that you might not be meeting with educators from the chapters of the labs, that doesn't mean that you're still not meeting like with, again, like your mentor and lead, that it's like for that specific group. So, and again, like what is very interesting is that because it's a very international program and everyone is literally everywhere in the world, there is always like somebody that, like is answering questions, technical questions. So you never feel, like alone. As long as, like you're connecting, there is always like somebody like that can answer your questions and engage and help out. So it's very integrated in this way.
So I have a question. Are the tasks team-based or individual-based? So you'll basically, from the first day, um, you'll make teams, and that's what kind of, for the most part, be your team through the program. Um, a lot of design masters programs work this way. For instance, the AADRL, which you probably know, graduate from. How big were your teams, Paulina? Was it 3 people or four? Four
Four,
people?
four.
4 people, yeah. So we have teams typically of 2 to 3 people. This is the ideal case in our situation. Um, so anyway, this is the schedule, and it follows through pretty much like that. It's usually 4 to 6 weeks per chapter, um, with the labs sprinkled between, and then various holidays and whatnot. Um, so teams. So most our entire program is kind of organized through Teams, through Microsoft Teams environment, which we will, you know, show you, in depth, how to use, but it's pretty straightforward, when you join. But it's basically broken down into these channels, and these channels are broken down into each of the chapters, each of the labs in the finale, and we basically move through them. So for instance, in the prosthesis, right? So this is where kind of like information about prosthesis, where we can have conversations, we can share things and respond um, throughout the chapters and throughout the labs. And then we also have the chat. And so in the chat, you have kind of like dedicated chat for each of the meeting, as well as each team, which is they go by based on time zone, they go like A or B. There's like A1, B1, A2, B2, uh, based on your team. So each team also has their own chat with their team members and the educators, core leads, where you can kind of just, whenever you want, questions are rolling, answers being had, you can have impromptu meetings. So that all is organized through Teams. The other major the other major um, platform that we're using is Miro. So if we look here, So each one of these is organized in the same way as the teams. So it's you have the different. Let me see if I can go to list view. List view. Um, so you have the each chapter, and then you have each lab as well. Um, and we have two types of Miro boards. And so as we're working through a chapter, for instance, I'll open this one here, which is the in progress board for chapter one. You basically, for each chapter, you have an in progress board and then a finale board or final presentation board. So the progress board gets kind of crazy and messy, but it becomes really interesting and cool. So basically, each team has their own board in that chapter, and this board is where you're kind of putting all your progress, putting your ideas, putting all your sketches, where people are kind of communicating, about the design. Your educators are kind of talking with you and kind of sketching over things, and even um, other students as well, kind of commenting on things, giving ideas about things. So yeah, so basically you're working um, through the chapter, from the beginning to the end. You see all the progress. These are my favorite boards, even more than the presentation boards, because you really see the kind of students' growth and development through these boards. Um, you can kind of almost follow it so linearly, like from where they started to where they ended up. And so these are always my favorite to look at, and they just become really interesting. um, but that's basically how that works and where all the work goes. Now, when we start each chapter, I was mentioning this before, um, we start each chapter very clearly and very specifically. So in the middle of Miro, we have always exactly what you'll be doing that chapter and exactly what the deliverables will be. So there'll never be any question about, oh, what should I do? What am I supposed to do? The deliverables and exactly do are there from the start, as well as we go over different examples and tips and how to do things. Um, we go through that as well, and then we also show um, examples from past students as well, which is really helpful because you can see how past students kind of went about things. Um, so you'll always have that to begin with. So to sum up, each team gets their own board per progress, for each chapter, and that's where you kind of do your thing, and we see all the progress through. Now, if I go back now, and we'll check out. So that was the chapter one in progress, and then at the end of the chapter, you'll move to a final presentation board of that chapter, which follows the same board structure, but it follows a layout. So then this is where you're kind of, finalizing the design of that chapter, rendering it, making it look pretty, organizing it, writing text and all that, and then you'll be kind of presenting that board. Okay, and yeah, so let's see another one here. What's also nice about the Miro is you don't only have your Miro, but you have also access to all the past year's Miros. So it's really nice that you can see, for instance, if you were to join this next one, you kind of have like access immediately to um, 4 years past work of students, both their in progress and presentations, and you can just kind of see, you know, how everyone's kind of work and all the progress and all the techniques and whatnot. So I think this is really really powerful and really helpful. The only ones that didn't have that was the first years, for first year. I didn't have any reference, but now we're at the point where we have a lot of reference. So just want to show another in progress board here. So this is, for instance, the corpuscle chapter about the kind of unit, the kind of living unit. Again, in progress, so it's kind of very kind of raw and messy, and it feels like a sketchbook, which is really cool. And then, from that, moving on to the final of that chapter. So it works that way again, like works that way pretty much for the entire for every chapter: in progress and then presentation, where you kind of bring it all together, make it look good, and be able to present it. Okay, so now I want to talk about the software. All the as a student, also, if I actually come here to our Airtable, we always have this kind of links, and it has kind of like all the important links for the program. And so one of them is software, for instance, and there's the program we talked about. So all this information is easy to access. So you have all the software. Again, this will be updated. This is the past year's one. So for instance, it won't be 2024. It'll be probably 2025 ZBrush. But basically list all the software you need, how to get it, what you need to get it. And since this is an accredited master's degree program, it qualifies for all the students' pricing, and most of the software, except for one or two, are actually free with your student email and a specific document that we'll give you. We have contact with most of these software companies, and they all know about it. But anyway, for instance, if you go to download things from Autodesk, right? So any Autodesk software like Maya is free when you're a student, as long as you have student email, and this there's a kind of whole thing. And when you look up, you can find the kind of university, and then you get it for free. We also list trials, even though you won't need them, but we list any that has a trial. So yeah, most software in the program is free because it either in the first place is free, like Houdini is free. Like there's the Apprentice version, so there's a free to use Houdini version, and Blender, for instance, is free. Unreal Engine is free. So a lot of this stuff is already free, and then the ones that aren't, like Autodesk stuff, becomes free because of the students. And I think other ones, like I think ZBrush became in some different way because they're owned by Maxon now. They're kind of changed every year, so I don't know what the next one will be. But anyway, yeah. So for the most part, it's free or low cost because of the it's accredited master's program. So, and then the other important thing organizationally is our tutorials thing. So along with the live, the live classes and all that, we have also this Airtable, which kind of goes again organized by the labs and organized by the chapters, which has a bunch of small intro stuff. These are things available on YouTube. So it's usually a bunch of small intro stuff that you can check out that we find is like kind of best. It's kind of curated, and then each of your tutors for that chapter have also provided pre-recorded material as well as the classes they'll be with you live. And each of those is like pretty substantial in length. So for instance, Maria, who is one of the tutors in chapter 1, we can see here, if we go here, we can see her pre-recorded tutorial, right? So you have the pre-recorded tutorial of that. This one, for instance, is almost 5 hours. They're usually about 5 hours long, I would say,
когда они доберутся. Если хочешь побег, беги.
Tutor, per educator.
Бесячка.
So that's also all there. So it's basically you got like the pre-recorded material, the kind of library of small intro tutorials, as well as the live classes.
And I think that what is again different here is that they're not generic tutorials about intro to softwares or general softwares about things, but it's specific to the chapter, specific to the softwares that we're focused on in each chapter. And these are the same exact educators that are coming the next week for 2 weeks in order to work like closely with the students. So that's something that again like, that doesn't really like exist in this format in other educational practices. Mostly the technical aspect, it's separated from the design aspect. And the technical tutorials are generic technical tutorials. They're not so closely knit really like with the design progress and the design challenge. While here, the educators are providing information that it's always accessible through these videos. And through these videos, we make sure that we level set the field. So we make sure that everyone understands the software, the basics. They can go back, they can re-watch parts of this, they can ask their educators about parts of the videos if they have questions. But again, like they have something to fall on other than just like staying on a call and going through technical tutorials and then like trying to replicate them. So they have a little bit of head start there, and then they have all the support, as they have all the support like to learn those tutorials at the same time. And in each chapter, the software changes, but that doesn't mean that we're not using the same softwares as we progress that we've already learned, right? Like, so it works very much in progression. So you're working with the softwares that you've learned in the previous chapters, and you're learning still new skills and advancing your skill set through each chapter as well. So that's something that is very different, and that's how we are able to teach more than 15 softwares in this program successfully, not just mark them there or have them as options. They're really like integrated into the whole storytelling, into the whole design process.
And I think what makes it interesting is that kind of why our students get kind of hired in all these kind of vastly different companies and doing different things is because the way that we're teaching it is not solely focused on one type of industry, but we're teaching how to kind of be a computational designer. And that can really mean, working for any kind of design field that can have these techniques. And that's why we kind of built this program to where you're kind of tackling many scales and problems in like also a really kind of interesting way where you have to kind of rethink about all the things that we know because you've made this kind of beings that aren't, like I was mentioning before, that aren't human. So you have to kind of rethink how all these things work. How do vehicles work? How does, I don't know, if it has clothing, how does clothing work? How does housing work? How does um, cities work? So you have to kind of rethink about these things, and it kind of like unlocks you and opens you up um, as a designer to think more freely, and how to think about tackling any kind of problem as common or as weird as it might be, and to approach it in a computational mindset.
And I
Um,
just want to add, yeah, like here, why this is important, especially in a fast evolving technological world. This has been, there even from when we started our careers 10, 15 years back. But it's accelerating because what has happened is that computational design was mainly used in the architectural field for a very long time. And that's where we still have a lot of architects that are interested in, like understanding how they can use these techniques. That's because, again, the processes are very challenging, like in order, again, like to build large scale developments like architecture. But then now we're seeing them infiltrating really like all design fields, and like giant companies like Apple, like Nike, like like they're all using computational design in their research departments, and they're really like trying like to become more and more technologically savvy. But that understanding of technology, how it shifts, what the basics are, how to use it, how to grow with it, like that's what is very valuable for today's shifting scene, really like with design. Because again, if like one space doesn't feel inspiring for like for someone, they can shift and go into a different space easily, like through this kind of experiences. And that has been my personal experience coming from architecture education, going into footwear design, going into like working with multiple different types of designs and challenges, and which are future facing. So I think that that's something just to keep in mind, and that's why we created this program, because of our own personal paths and seeing, like what, computational design has to offer and how it unlocks opportunities that wouldn't be possible, like to move through these industries as easily without really like the understanding of technology and unlocking this, because it's the first time within this first, like these 5 years actually, that we see all these companies enabling computational design and having these groups. So positioning yourselves as leaders of these groups is a vital, moment like for career building.
yeah, I mean, even from my experience, because of computational design, I was able to kind of fluidly, seamlessly move from architecture and then to footwear and athletic wear design, and then to now pretty much game dev. Uh, so like it made all of that pretty seamless. Like there wasn't any issue like transitioning from those like kind of very, you know, you would think vastly different, but with the right tools and mindset, they almost become the same at a programmatic level. Um, so it's been really interesting, and helped kind of guide us what we're doing here. And then, an important thing I hear from, some people that I know that have hired our students is that they just found the work, like when they see it in their portfolio or whatever, like just so unexpected and interesting, kind of grab their attention. Um, where you might see a lot of, portfolios that kind of have a lot of the same usual expected kind of stuff. And then you come across, one of students' projects, and it kind of really is like, whoa, this is really kind of unexpected, and it gets your curiosity going and just becomes interesting, these people. So with that being said, I think that that's pretty good overview of like how the program works, the kind of workflow of that. To summarize, you're creating a kind of overall concept. You're with a team. You're moving through these chapters and labs to create these various scales of world building elements, um, with computational mindsets framework.
Thank you for the overview,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you for really going through the website and like all the aspects of the program. That's super helpful to see and understand really how things operate behind the scenes. Yeah, I think that we can move forward to conversations with our alumni, and then we'll have the opportunity to watch a couple of projects from this year and have a conversation with a couple of our students from this year. But yeah, first, I think that we'll start with our alumni that I've been looking forward really to see how everyone's doing and have this conversation together. We have with us today Eva Hefes, who is an educator in the program, but our alumni also from our first year in the program. She's also working with Michael Pryor and with Mohammed Kumar in World. So there is a lot of different aspects and connections with the program and with DesignMorphine that she can share. We have Nadia Kotireva with us today. She's our PhD candidate also in our PhD of Computational Architectural Design program, and she's an alumni from our first year. She's also been my colleague at Nike, now moved into Hoka. So super exciting perspective she can bring as well. Maria Soroko Tsupra, she's also an educator in our program in Chapter 1, and our alumni as well, super connected to our community. Mohammed Kumar, who I mentioned, in the wilder world, very interesting, transition, again, from the program to a different type of work after, being an architect. Akash Roger, is with us today. Super excited to hear about his journey and again, he's shifted industries as well, into more VFX work. Asema Mataya, who is dedicated to academia, and we have Aranxanava Flores, as well, she's working with computational design, and again, our alumni. So super excited to see you all guys here today. Maybe I can start with Eva and
Sure.
just get the conversation going.
Sure. Do you hear me fine?
Yes, perfect. Thank you for joining us, Eva, today. Thank you for being a part of the program. I was curious to hear
It's
a
my
little bit
pleasure.
about you're
Always been, yeah.
You're very well integrated, through all these years with us now, 4 years, because you were one of the first ones to join the program as well. And I'm really looking forward for you to share with us your experience, how it's been through this, 4 years, looking at, DesignMorphine, where we started the first year, how it's progressed, the program, because you become an educator immediately after. And especially a core lead, which means that you have a very important role with Tongengen, to drive the teams through from the beginning until the end of the program and being so integrated and so close to them. But as well as this, having a full-time job throughout the world and
Yeah.
balancing, education and your, work at metaverse and very future facing design and technical challenges.
Yeah, for 4 years sounds like we're getting old, but it just feels like yesterday. It's been a ride for sure, and I'm so happy to see my peers here from the first year. I know things were very different when we started off with, considering COVID and the first time the degree launched and everything that just came up with. We were so experimental about what the chapters are, what these chapter names mean actually, processes and all that stuff were just crazy sci-fi words for us, but it was interesting how that went off with. And me coming from architecture background with really just basic skills in architecture with the 3D design. I used that opportunity, and as well as my fellow associates and colleagues working, we used the opportunity to grab the best technical knowledge available out there, all the softwares that were just put on the table that open the doors for all the industries, not just limited to architecture. Like I'm so happy and proud that my fellow friends are in different industries like shoes, like footwear and product and architecture. And Mohammed is working with me right now with Mike. And as well as Anthony, who's not here, but we are working with Mike and Oleg under the supervision of these guys. And it's so amazing to learn and take our knowledge to that next level. And it's an incredible journey, which I feel kept me tied to this program, because I felt what I received here was like much more than expected, and it's my duty to give it back to the community now. So I feel really integrated with the program because it really gifted me a lot of opportunities in future as well. Like being there as a core lead, and I see the program back in the back when it started as 4 years past. We have evolved a lot because I see it daily and I see it with every year how the students are growing with that, how we are, giving the students that education that is evolving with the industry. It's not like, okay, we did not have AI back then, it's not there. We are just evolving every year, and it's just exceptional results that we get out of it. So yeah, I'm really happy and proud to be a part of this program because design morphine is something that recognizes the passion for the designers. It's just not limited to one industry or like a specific industry, and there are no boundaries. You're just the designer of your own world. So yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about the program.
Very sweet. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That's really amazing. Um, what is something that like surprised you in the program? Something that like you didn't expect, like coming into again like the first year, something that like you didn't know really like what you were signing up for, right? Because there was no precedent. Like,
The
what was something
movie.
that really surprised you, like
That
going into it?
movie, that end result, how we, put up everything together was something that I really did not expect I could come up to that level, or, we as a group could do that as well, because that's something out of my league. Honestly, really did not imagine that I could be at that stage of making a movie, being the art director of my own world, and like be the designer, be the script writer, be everything of the world that we created off. So that was like something that I really had no clue that I could be capable of, but I'm really glad we could pull that off. So really nice.
Yeah, you were touching on this because, to be honest, that was also another consideration we had for the program when we were building it, like to empower students to have more agency, to be the creative directors of their own designs. Because again, like like seeing from like what existed beforehand, it was very much like oriented towards studio masters, right? Like people that you follow their conceptual work, their strategy, their design language, even, like in a way. And you're learning computational design or advanced design like through their practices. But that's something that was super, super important for us to enable the designers like that are coming in the program to be able to have their own voice and to become stronger as designers. And that's where you see like all these crazy ideas come to life, and we're trying to support each and one of them, like and no matter how different they might be from each other. So I'm really happy to hear that like you really appreciated that like coming into it. Perfect. Thank you so much. Really like amazing feedback about the program. I want to move on to now, like ask a couple questions to Nadia. Also, if you guys have any questions, like for any of the alumni, as like we're chatting, or you can ask them in the chat. We're happy to answer. Thank you, Eva. Nadia, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Super nice to see you today. I'm very curious to hear like about your experience. You were again entangled with design morphing in multiple ways, like working with us like through these like 4 years, and now like again like being our PhD candidate as well. So it's very interesting to hear about your background, your interest, why you joined the program. Again, you're one of the first alumni. Like, why did you join the program in its early stages? What were you expecting to get out of it, and what was like actually like your like experience going through it?
So my background, the same, is architecture. So when I moved between countries, I thought, okay, now I'm ready for something else because I had architectural career in the past and I was looking for something new and I was thinking maybe industrial design, maybe something else, maybe graphic design, but I wasn't sure. And it was the perfect timing when I saw Design Morphine program because I saw that I can touch multiple things and try multiple things, meanwhile building a very strong portfolio. And my goal was to figure out what I want, to figure out who I am as a designer, what is my design philosophy in a way, and to build a strong portfolio and find very satisfying and interesting job. So, and honestly, I hit all this through Design Morphine, even not finishing the program yet, because as Pavlina said, the best part of the program that it's follow the interest of the students rather than giving them the very rigid agenda and exercises or marks to hit or whatever. So I love the most that with Design Morphine, it's your own journey with exciting things that you can try and do. Like this is a perfect spot when you can try whatever is in your mind, because as you saw how project looks like at the end, everybody is different because we are all, with all our experience, we are very different humans. And that was the best part of the program. And later I was thinking, okay, I switched to footwear. I'm learning, progressing there, but at the same time I want more. And I didn't know, again, I was like, but what will be my next move? And Design Morphine announced PhD program. And I thought, okay, this is the best part for me to figure out, again, my own voice, my own interest. And because it's not, and again, this program, the PhD program allows the same freedom as masters. So this is why I'm still hanging around, because this is amazing community. And as you see, all of us alumni, we are talking to each other, we are still follow each other progress, even that we live like on the opposite sides of the globe.
That's a great point. I have a question for you. How do you approach learning now, like after the program, right? Like, because like you're relentless in your interest in growth, in like learning new tools, shifting, like again careers. How do you approach learning new tools, technologies after the program? Has your mindset also like shifted, like moving through the different chapters, and how you approach design and learning through it?
Interesting thing that I don't think that I'm learning now. It's just for me, if I have an idea, I don't know how to do it, I just search internet, search visuals, talk to AI. It's just like so what is the word? So simple process right now, because during the masters we were learning so much and so fast. So now in my regular day life, it doesn't feel like learning. I'm just open things, look at them, think about them. But yeah, if you now now I think that I'm actually learned another software 2 weeks ago, and I even didn't thought that I was learning something, because I was curious about it, and I was just look up and what is there. So yeah, through I think I become more efficient with in catching with things, because software progresses so much right now, so fast. So being able to not stressing about it, that's a very good thing.
Definitely, definitely. And what advice would you give somebody who is about to start the program? What would be the best mindset to come into the program, in your opinion?
First, do the program. Second, have fun. Like, yes, it's education, it's a serious degree, it's master, but at the end of the day, everything in masters created for students. So just go in the program, trust the process, and just have fun with your project.
That's cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nadia. I really appreciate your feedback. Amazing. I have a couple questions also for Mohammed Komar, who I haven't seen in a little bit because he keeps in touch with Mike and not me so much.
Hello. Good seeing you, Sabrina.
So
Good to be
great to
back.
see you. Yeah, so great to see you. Again, alumni from the first year. We have so many of you today, like the first year. So it's interesting to see, your progress for 4 years. Yes, 4 years have passed, if you can imagine.
Definitely. Definitely. It's crazy. I mean, if I look back at it and it still feels like yesterday, like Ava said, it's like freshly new.
Yeah. How
Really
has it
good.
been for you? Like you went from the program from architecture to a totally new field for you also, and you've been very challenged as
Mhm,
well with Eva, like with
mhm,
Houdini, with again, like softwares and workflows, like about like optimization and really challenging again
mhm.
technically. So I'm very
Yeah.
curious to see like how this transition like felt to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, it all goes back to the masters itself. So, like Nadia said, we do get taught so many softwares, and they all have different applications. And people don't talk about this, but during the program, you become fearless and you start to approach things in a much more creative way, and you stop, looking at the timelines, and you just try to problem solve and things like that. So I think that's what we developed throughout the years. And then when I moved into, of course, coming from an architecture background, like I said, I only knew Rhino and Grasshopper, and then I had this sort of arsenal of different softwares now. So when we worked with Michael at World, I think we were switching to Houdini, and it was just it was a learning stage, but again, it was just the process, right? And it became so normal and so easy. Now it becomes so easy. So this is one of the greatest things about this masters is that you learn so much and in such a short amount of time, and it's designed in such a way that you're able to learn, right? Like, and you're able to use those foundational tools and to solve your specific problem, right? So everybody has a different story, everybody has a different narrative. So it was just amazing, really, and it's been good. It's been really good, to transition from architecture to this whole metaverse scene, and it's very different, definitely very different. But again, we've all found our feet, and now it looks very normal and very good. So very exciting.
And I think that somebody might ask why would you go from architecture in a different field in the first place, right? Like why would you
Mm-hmm.
be interested like to shift, especially when we're talking about architecture, which needs so much effort, so much passion to go through so many years of education, right? Like to go into this field, jumping into something totally new. What was the reason for you, like to really think
Yeah.
about like outside of the box and really like venture into something that it's actually metaverse related. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
companies that are actually doing this type of work going into,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. So I guess um, looking at architecture, I was very, optimistic about architecture. Of course, I completed my degree. I came back to Oman, and what I found was the industry was very niche, right? Like there weren't many exciting projects that were going on within the city, and we had all these different, bylaws about construction, about how you can build, and especially in Oman, it's very like constricted, right? Like, so you can't build very tall buildings. You won't find great companies here, international level companies. So it was very like, I felt very constricted, and I wanted to, and I also knew that I wanted to, like do something crazy, do some really amazing design. I was really passionate about design, right? So and I researched all the masters, and I saw, there's UK masters in architecture, there's Canada, there's US, and all these conventional options. But then when I saw the DesignMorphine, which I was following for a while now with seminars, and it had all the elements which I was looking for, right? So it was just a no-brainer for me to really just go for it and then see how it turns out, right? Like learn all the skills, and then you sort of expand your knowledge, and I think opportunities definitely arrive after that. So, and it did. So
that's a good segue to what I wanted to ask you next. Can you share a moment when something from the program gave you an edge in a real world job, interview, or project?
Definitely. I mean, I think, like I mentioned before, right? Like presenting to industry leaders as well. I think that was very cool. Like we gained so much confidence in terms of like presenting ourselves and our skill set, that gave us a real edge. And usually in architecture it's quite different actually. You do learn softwares, but it's not so in depth, and the applications are not such in depth. So once I gained that sort of confidence with the different softwares, I think the whole presentation, the whole presenting yourself and what value you bring to the table, I think that became very clear, and it sort of led to this natural confidence where you're able to present yourself, you're able to talk about different things, both technically and just in casually in terms of your profession. So yeah.
Yeah, we really get you very early, to start presenting even from chapter 1. So 1 month within the program, you were already presenting officially all the work you've been done. And then in each chapter there is this really big presentations that we're presenting to industry leaders. And I think that although scary in the beginning, especially when it's your first presentations, I think that it builds that muscle, but also it kind of builds this understanding of that you're a professional, and every time that you're showing up, you're really showing up in the best possible way for your project, for who you are as a designer, and that also it's normal that you're progressing and growing through it, right? It's not the same work that you're showing in the beginning of the program, as it's developing, that's something that it's absolutely normal. So I think we're not waiting for a final presentation at the end of the year, right? To just show the best possible face, but we're tracking all this progress, and we believe in the progress more than the, final outcome. So yeah, thank you for really bringing that aspect of it. Definitely. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. It was so nice to see you today. Fantastic.
Always.
Thank you. My next question is going to be towards Akash Roger. Hey, Akash.
Hi, Pavlina. Hi, Mike. How are you guys
Hey, how
doing?
are you? We're great.
Uh,
We're
yeah,
super
I'm doing good.
excited to see you.
Yeah, same from me. Yeah,
What have you been
it's
up
been a long
to?
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been like right now I've been working with DNEC, and we are doing some pre-production and post-production on Bollywood projects. So yeah, I'm having fun there.
that's cool. Is this more on the VFX side of things, or what are you working on right now?
So we are doing pre-production right now. So we build sets until the shoot. So there's much of planning and designing involved. And after the shoot is done, then we'll get into VFX and get the movie to be done on the big screen.
Oh, that's really exciting. Can you tell us what the movie is, or we can't?
I cannot tell it right now. But
Oh boy.
yeah,
Okay, so we're waiting then for it to be released, and you know, we're very
yeah.
excited for it. Perfect. Well, I'm curious, to hear about your experience again, within the program, what your expectations were, and what was your, your progress. You're again somebody who shifted industries. So interestingly, again, to hear always about this, a move, and what was the, how did it feel? Did you feel, supported and ready for it? I'm really curious to hear about your experience.
Okay. So when I joined DesignMorphine, I didn't know what I was stepping into, but I know I was doing something like a step ahead, and like I just wanted to break from the regular design bubble. Like I was in architecture, so I just wanted to do a little more, and I knew I was following DesignMorphine for a while then, and I think that's the best decision I took in my life. And yeah, so during the course, it's not about learning the softwares; it's about the process and the design approach you take. Uh, I was um, I was a very average student, I think, when I started. By the time I finished, I was on par with the industry standards and all the peers which I was working with. And the support from all the staffs and Mike, Pavlina, Eva, and all the tutors, like that was really great. And they pushed me, and it was really great to step where I am right now.
How did the multidisciplinary nature of the program shape the way you think about design?
So, like when it is architecture, like it has a set of steps to follow. But in when I started design muffin, like that's when I realized like design goes back and forth, and you start from scratch and you build something, and that might not be the uh, great idea, but it still evolves your design, and you go back to the scratch again, and you develop a good design, like which is ready to be sold. Yeah.
That's perfect. What was something that you didn't expect, like coming into the program, that was something that surprised you the most?
It's the conversation with the tutors and the industry professionals, and even when I was presenting, I got to talk to a lot of people who are like industry legends, and that was really great. And also the peers I was working with, the other batchmates, and looking at them and looking at their design approach, that evolved me as a person and how to think about design and how to approach it to get what I like, what the concept and what the storyline is. So yeah.
And was there any moment in the program where your creative direction or career direction became more clear? Like, because like your experience, again, like so many different types of design industries, it was very blue sky, what you were, like experimenting with. So is there like a moment of clarity, like as you were going through the chapters, or did it come after the program?
So when I was doing I think when I was doing the Unreal virtual reality lab, that's when I realized like that's much more different than what I was doing before, and that gave me a clarity. Okay, like what I'm doing, like it's a good skill set for games or movies, which has a lot of experimentation and a lot of ideas involved. And like that's when I realized like I shouldn't just stick to like the traditional architecture way. So that really helped. I think the Unreal is when I learned to step something different.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Akash. Is there anything again that like you would like you would give us like what you would say to somebody like starting in the program, something that like like has helped you go through it and also navigate like a new space in design afterwards, some wise words of wisdom?
Not really. So like you're learning, you're creating, you're failing also. So don't lose the confidence, and this course and the people you work with, uh, they will really help you and they'll really support you, and they'll push you forward. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Akash. It's so nice to see you today, and really great to hear about like your experience in DNEG. Thank you, and looking forward to the movie. We'll definitely go and see it as soon as it's out.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Perfect. We have also Maria Soroco Tupa with us today.
Hello, hi guys.
Hey Maria, how are you?
Great, great. Nice to see
How
you
are,
again.
how are things in Bali?
Nice weather is always.
Perfect,
Um,
perfect. I wanted to ask you about like your experience in the program as like a alumni, as a like student, and now also like as an educator in the program. Like you're one that like really starts very early with the students, like from chapter one. So I was curious to hear about like your perspective and what you expected and what like you got out of it.
yeah, I started as an architect, but I worked a few years as a part of team who created a procedural and parametric furniture, but mostly as project management, not as a like design part. And it was very interesting for me to learn the software, to learn the tools, to learn how to create this design things, not like an architect in the classic way, but like go in a more crazy way. And yeah, learn the software and all these interesting things. And during the learning process, it was a bit unexpected that it's possible to learn so many software during 1 year, but it was really possible, and that's the main thing, that it's so good organized, and like you have all things that you need to make it, and you have a lot of support. So yeah, that's very important thing. And also I wanted to tell that the community of DesignMorphine is, I think, also the huge part of this master program, and I think all other webinars and all other programs, that you get like a lot of people around you who think in the same way together with you, who inspire you, who create really crazy things, and like you can communicate with them, you know each other, um, you can learn from them. That's really very important and big part of this. As a
Definitely, that's what
tutor,
keeps
yeah.
us going also. Yeah, like it's exactly like the community, like staying connected with people, hearing about like everyone's progress. It's always so exciting. But also like I know that you're working now with Nadia, like with some exciting like 3D printing projects. So even after the program, like the collaboration continues, like even in a very organic way. So that's like amazing to see, like that there is always an interest. I know that you also collaborated with Laura, like with the Microsoft Garage, and that was, like I wanted to ask you about that experience for you as well, because it was, like you were basically like representing Design Morphing, like with, a small team, like through, like the Microsoft Garage Challenge, and that was like their annual hackathon. You were working like with, the employees. So how did that feel also?
That also was super unexpected that we can go like that way as a like participant of a hackathon. But we had a lot of fun, and we created like a small project of virtual space for like teams, but more in 3D space. And yeah, that was really interesting project.
And I just want to ask you also, because like you were also in one of our graduations in Sofia, like how was that? How did that feel? Like again, like from the community aspect, I know that like that was like one of the legendary years. That then the next years like keep asking about the graduations in Sofia.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was so cool to see guys like from all over the world, because you talk and communicate with them during the full year. You see each other like online every day, and now you finally can like meet each other and see, like talk and spend time together, not only on the graduation, also we had like final presentation in really classroom all together in one space. That was also super cool, and like had a lot of support from each other, and like, yeah, come on, you can do it. That is really cool. And yeah, I had a lot of fun just traveling around Sofia. Yeah, that was amazing experience. Hope to come to some of graduations next years.
Absolutely, yeah, we keep going, and you know, like that everyone's always welcome, like to join us. We've had the opportunity also like to meet in person in other places like earlier in the program, and I think that that's something that we're like thinking more about, like creating these opportunities, like where we have like more trips in the beginning and at the end. So you know, they're more again like people can connect you know, like on a different level when they're also like in person, if that's you know, something that they wish to do. As an educator here, like I just wanted to again like touch on like what is your experience as an educator, you know, like how are you seeing like your students like developing, growing, you know, what is the experience from that point of view?
Yeah, I don't really know what is the most like cool thing is to be a student or to be a tutor, because as a tutor, it's so cool to see how students are learning and how they get the progress during like we have together with the students only 1 week, but during this like week we have a lot of discussions of their projects, and they really create something and learn and find new tools, get new ideas. That's really very interesting process to see how it works, and hope help them to go to the goal of their
Next
project.
level. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're always the first one to start with them on the hands-on like design process. So it's definitely it's an important moment.
Yeah, yeah. But no, not the first, because you have the concept part, and it's
Yes, but
like,
it's more like
yeah,
AI driven, it's more conceptual driven. Well, you know, like you were like more on the hands-on like design, you know, like actually like starting with ZBrush, starting with polygonal modeling. So, you know, like it's when actually, you know, like the design process like becomes, you know, like
yeah,
technically challenging, let's say.
yeah. The learning process is starting, and like guys are trying to watch the full 5 hours tutorial. Like, come on, we need time. But
Yeah,
yeah, everyone can do it.
perfect. Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you for the feedback and for being part of the program and our community. It's always wonderful to see you.
Thank you. It's so cool to see you guys. Thank you for inviting.
Of course. Perfect. I have a couple of questions also for Sam Ataya, who is with us today.
Hi,
Hey, Sam, how
yeah,
are you?
great. Amazing meeting you again, Paulina. And the guys,
Yes,
yeah, have been a long
definitely.
time.
Yes, it has been. Where are you now? Are you in Austria?
Now I'm in Vienna. So I'm working here at the Angewandte and studying at the same time. So I'm assistant with Space Popular now, and previously was with Greg then. And then sometimes I'm doing research with other universities, which is which is pretty amazing. Yeah.
That's great to hear. So from your perspective, like you went from our master's degree with design morphing and moved into, you know, the Angewandte, and now you're again like assisting, you're studying there.
Yeah.
What is your experience like being like more tied to the educational world?
Basically, as you know, like I'm an architect, and I joined DesignMorphine, which is they were very famous team. I remember they had a workshop here in Vienna, in technical university. I don't know if you remember or not, before even
I
pursuing.
try to remember all
Yeah,
200 of them.
yeah, they are pretty famous here with many workshops, even in technical university. So many guys know, like, even I have here my teammates, they still remember, like, okay, we know they are super talented team, DesignMorphine team, and then they are pretty famous even with computational design process. And even Studio Rashid here was very interested with what DesignMorphine present at that time. And I I try to use with the skills, to be honest, I learned in design print, because I still remember your first recommendation in our first conversation once you told me, like, there is no rules here, which was amazing, because architecture is very strict in a way. And then once you don't have any boundary with thinking in architecture, that's gonna in a way change your way of how you behave with project. And then once I finish DesignMorphine Master, okay, I want to go back for architecture now. And then, oh my God, like, I feel I have a weird way of thinking, different for everyone. Like, okay, out of skills, because DesignMorphine program is give us very intense program skills. And then at the end, we can say, like, tools is a tools. So I think, like, what I really enjoyed, which is I was missing, like, the theory depth, which is, I was really missing some of these skills, and then try to apply these techniques I've learned, like Houdini, like Maya, and all of that. Like, okay, how I use this in architecture, which is now I think I start to bring something new, like new design languages. You have even your way of thinking in architecture extremely changed a lot. And even the way of creativity, I think it's already exists there. So let's say, like, the program shaped actually my character from zero, because I wasn't like this before joining the program. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely your interest like grew to so many different directions, and you're obviously very passionate about this experimentation, and that's why you chose like to continue growing in this educational path and world. What is next for you? What are you looking forward to as you're approaching, like completing the Angevante as well? And like, are
Actually,
you looking forward to more like educational like practices? Or is it like, do you want to go into the, like more like applied architecture or industrial design?
I would say, like, for yesterday, I was at the University of Innsbruck, and I had a connection with Christina and Stefan with ISD, and then we just were I would really pursue my PhD there, and also in a way, like, I really want to continue in the research, so I really feel very happy about that. And at the same time, like, it's because you cannot disconnect about normal architecture projects, which is at the end you have to do it. Yeah, but I would really love the way, like, how I shaped, like, DesignMorphine start at the beginning, and then in a way, like, it shaped everything. It gives me the tools, it gives me the way of thinking, and then more experimental thing after DesignMorphine, which is, you got a pace of and you got the start that can gives you okay, now you can experiment with everything. You don't have to worry about how you do it, Absolutely. No, you can do everything. It's just about more thinking. And for myself, I feel like academic research is really great for me. That's what I feel.
So we might see you as well, like in a PhD program, pursuing like a PhD soon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, is there something that also like was surprising for you, like coming into the program, coming from a different world, and that like again, like you said that the program shaped the way that you were thinking. What was,
Exactly. Yeah.
like the more like profound moment, let's say, or something that was like very interesting to you, like coming in?
You know that we were first generation of DesignMorphine, and actually we don't know, we don't have that much information about how the program is going and what we're gonna learn and what we're gonna achieve. So it's just we were trying to imagine, and we're trying to know how everything can go, especially from the beginning. And it comes also in Corona time, which was very hard, which was very hard time. And I think in a way, like, the sequence of the program, how you can move from like mini chapters and even like going through normal tools and then move through more theoretical and then more computational and then even more procedural stuff. I think this sequence now, like it's really affect a lot the waves of let's say the way of how I think in architecture in a way. And then like maybe afterwards, like I would really love a design community. It's like this kind of like I feel like I cannot even until now feel I'm not from this community. Like even in Anguilla, like many guys feel like, okay, you still in DesignMorphine, like you cannot get spirit from this. But overall, like I really thanks a lot, Pavlina, for the opportunity from the beginning, and even Mike, like you guys helped me a lot. Thanks so much.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Sam. Like, thank you for being an amazing part of the program, for being one of the pioneers from the beginning. Because again, you didn't even have AI back then, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The madness.
But I still in communication with Mike, I think. Like
Mike was your AI.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like there was no precedent for the program. There was no visuals like to, like because like we didn't want to like bias you. That was the other thing. Like we really like looked into this like as an experiment and didn't want to bias you the first year. And we
Yeah.
wanted to like like really like nurture the creative thinking and see like what you come up with. And no matter what you were throwing at us, we were just trying to support and like make it cohesive, make it, something that like really like builds on top of each other and like, like as you were advancing technically. But yeah, no, like it was definitely like I'm excited, like, like that I had the opportunity like to hear like firsthand like from you about like how this experience shaped you and your passion for design and who you are now and where you're going next. So thank you, Sam, for sharing. That's
Thank you,
very sweet
Pavlina.
of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Lastly, we have with us today Aranxa Nava Flores.
Hello. Hi, Paulina.
Hello, Aranxa. How
So
are
good
you?
to
How
see
is New
you
York?
all. New York is amazing. It's hot. It's like really
Oh,
warm right now. But it's good. It's good. I love it here.
perfect, perfect. And how are you doing? What are you up to
I'm
these days?
doing, yeah, it's been a long time, right? I also was part of the first generation of DesignMorphine, and I actually was living in Portland at that time. So when I decided to join, I remember exactly like I reached out to you and you were very kind, explaining me all of the things and the ideas of how the program was going to be and how excited you were that I was like, okay, I have to do it. Because the emotion and the excitement of this project was too like a lot. So I wanted to be part of that. And currently I'm working in Arup and I am part of the beam design technology in the company. And it's been 4 years, like I've been with them, but it's been a lot of challenges. I still in the IAC industry. I know a lot of my peers are like changing from industry to other, but I just love the IAC industry, so I decided to stay in it, and I really like it. Definitely, like the master give me like a good amount of tools to like help me through my day to day, even though I am not in this very designy kind of area, but I am very like how to solve problems in a very design morphine mindset, which is
Yeah.
really cool. I
And
really
that's
like
really
it.
great to hear because it's a
Yeah.
totally different experience and a different path, right? Like you are
Yes.
still like very much embedded into the architectural world, like from like the BIM perspective. And it's really great to hear that like, like again, the program was useful for your mindset and your path.
Yeah,
Although like
definitely.
you, yeah. Can you give us maybe some examples of like how really like it changed the way that like you were approaching, you know, like challenges and you know, like again, like from the computational side, like while merging it with BIM?
Yes. So having a computational mindset is a different way to approaching problems. You learn, and this was one of the biggest things I learned during the program was how to solve it using computational tools, right? And that is something that you didn't I didn't learn in college, because it was more about solving these spaces and like but now we have tools, and then now we have all this technology that is part of our like daily day. So a great thing of like whenever I have a problem coming to me that is like more of like data and process and how to solve the structural elements and all that, I use this mindset that I learned through a very intense year, and then I grab those tools and apply it. And it's not in the design way, it's more in the technical aspect, right? But I just change it's a little bit more restrictive in terms like I have a lot of rules to follow, but I use it in the same way. Like, okay, I'm going to use these steps and steps that I learned through the masters, or I'm gonna use it through the perspective of using the tools and how that can benefit, which was a lot in the videos and like with the tutors walking me through the, okay, you have this tool, like keep it in mind in this way and this way. So in the way I do the problem solving in my day to day, I apply those kind of skills that I learned through it. So it's kind of, I'm thankful for that, but it was hard.
You're
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah, now you can take on like much more like creative, like geometry problem solving, like tougher, you know, like really like parts of like this industry that they're not again like this is not something that like everyone can do, right? Like it's a very niche like a skill set that you're using.
Exactly, yes. And even though the problems are a little bit less shiny or less like curvy, or like crazy, I still like it's still really nice to accomplish like, okay, I need to solve this, I don't know, geometry, but how we can do it. I remember a lot of the lessons of like how to visualize or like solve problems with Rhino or Grasshopper and all that, and then applying that into my day to day. It helps. It like actually helped me a lot to to use it in my daily basis. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm very thankful. It was a
Nice.
great experience.
Thank you, Ranks. Also wanted to ask you about the community, like I know that like you joined this also like in New York with the Microsoft Garage, like the workshop, like how was this experience as well, like connecting with others?
Oh, it was great. So the first generation was during COVID, and I mean the program is still online. So you also, as other just describe it, like we talk a lot online and we send messages and support each other and send memes and all that, right? But like actually meeting them, like, in this case, in the Microsoft workshop, that was really cool experience. Because we got to first go to the offices of Microsoft that are like amazing, like very nice building, and then after that the challenging was to go outside to the New York City and like just walk around and like find a problem that you can solve with technology. And it was just really fun. Like we were laughing all the day and we were like trying to solve everything super fast, and at the end, we come up with crazy but very cool ideas about how to, I don't know, deal with the trash, solve the rats problems, and the noise, the chaotic, how to make it more fun, how to connect people, how to understand the rant, blah, blah, which are problems that like we see every day, but like solve it with technology and creativity, it was really a great experience.
That's really amazing to hear that you had a lot of fun. Um, what advice would you give somebody that it's about to start the program?
I would really advise to take a day or two to grab a coffee and have your notebook with you and clear your vision, because it's really important to know what you want, and you're gonna figure it out through it, and it's okay that it's gonna change, but like write down your values, like what is that it moves into your inside, like if you like fashion, if you like architecture, if you so you keep it together, keep it next to you, because it's a lot of information that you're gonna learn, and it's a lot of great things that people are doing, but if you have your core like goal of like, okay, I want to develop this because I'm very passionate about this thing, you're gonna be able to push further and like have these like three to things that you really like. It's like your core values of what you want to achieve in the program. It's gonna help you a lot, like because you might get, oh my God, this is so cool too, and then this is also really cool, and like everything is like you have a lot of information in this program and you want to do everything, and you want to explore everything, but it's 1 year. So it's I will advise that. That will be my advice. Like have your main things that you want to achieve, and like, or your main things that you want to interest, and keep it near to you, and always like come back to them and see like, okay, am I developing this, or like maybe you discover something new and you're like, okay, I'm gonna add this other thing in the list. Uh, but it's 1 year, so you don't have the time of the world. You have to work fast.
That's another thing, another skill that it's
Yes.
important in the real world, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's very important as fast. I mean, time is money. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's a really great, yeah, like idea. If like knowing who you are, like coming in, like like being open-minded, but also like understand like your values and having a goal, right? Like understanding like why are you here, right? Like what
Yes.
is the scope? What are you trying to get after? And again, for those who might be lost, because again, like the path is not always clear, like that's also like something just to embrace the change, to have grace, and to just like go with the flow until you find something. Because like as you saw, like there was also like Akash was saying, oh, like in this part of the program, actually, like I found my calling, like I was going like into like creating movies. So it works differently for different
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
again, like I think that that's the beauty of it. But again, like having the support, having like the excitement about like learning and understanding it's continuous learning. Because what we see like with all of you guys and all of our alumni that are not here with us today, it's that you all are so serious about like bettering yourselves, growing. Like you understand that technology is not something static that you learn in 9 months and then that's it, you're done, right? Like it's something that it's continuous, it's important, it gives you opportunities, it shapes who you are, like as a designer, and like your contributions. But again, like I loved like also like what Nadia was saying, that like, oh yeah, I don't even think of learning as learning anymore. I'm just, doing something there, like, playing with it, like trying to problem solve, like something is in front of me and I'm just going for it. And I think that that's like a very good place to be, because I remember as a student what stress and challenge it was when you want to create something or you have an idea and you just don't know how to express it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what one of the tools that you learn in the program is like how to problem solve in that way, like, okay, I have all these tools, like and then they become back in your head, right? Like it's thing that it's there for me, that I can come back, like if I have a library of elements that I can go back whenever I have something, and then I be like, okay, I need this, I need that, I need that, but I need something new, so I'm gonna like just grab, because yeah, it's changed a lot from last. I can imagine doing the program again with now all this new technology. It would be like,
Yes, and it changes every day,
yeah,
like and year to year we integrate more and more depending on like what is next. Especially like with AI, every year like we've been shifting the program. 1 year has been ChatGPT, like writing, like or creating with it. Another year like is integrating more and more like Mid Journey, and co-creating with Mid Journey. Now like working with Meshi, also like kickstarting a lot of the actual design process, like co-creating with the like AI. like working again now, we will actually like have an AI lab, so we'll start making videos with it. So yeah, if you want to come back at us like for the second round, there's some new
Definitely.
parts.
Definitely. I need to sleep a little bit more, but yes, yes,
Nice.
I will go for the PhD with Nadia.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, because like you were one of the ones that was also working full time, right? Like with like a
Yes.
proper like 8 hour like office job and more than that, because again, like it was like challenging. So I'm curious to hear about like your perspective on that, like work-life balance or
I
study work balance.
So yeah, it's hard. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard, but it's you know that it's a process. It's like it's 1 year, and I didn't want to stop working, and then but I wanted to do the program very bad, so I feel like balance change in terms of like whenever you are in your life. So in that time, I wanted to do this program, so it was like less sleep, less of going out, less social, definitely not exercising a lot. But it was a time, so I set up like, okay, this is gonna be the time that I'm gonna study and I'm gonna keep working. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be yeah, you cry once in a while, but that's fine. But like it- the thing is that what keeps me through that was the community that we built, like having everyone saying like, yeah, you can do it, come on, or like your partner during the masters, and all these friends that you start building was like, okay, I can do it, or like I cannot not finish this, like how all my like friends are gonna do it and I'm not gonna do it. So just they start helping you, they start pushing you, and you're like also excited through all the process, because every chapter is like different emotions of like, oh, I'm gonna do that, oh, I'm gonna do this other crazy thing, oh, okay. And you're and the like in the presentation you're exhausted, and I remember after every presentation, I go to bed and sleep for like the whole, like, I don't know,
The
10
whole
hours,
day.
the whole day. And then I come back and be like, okay, next chapter. So
Yeah.
but it's really cool. Like it's hard, but it's doable. Uh, Also, I would recommend to like talk to your team and be like very clear, like I'm doing this. Usually the companies are very supportive in that process, which sorry, I was, and they knew I was like I cannot do like extra hours or anything like that. So they were very supportive through that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, like
Mhm.
feedback to hear for somebody who had like like a very engaging, like challenging job, right? Like again, like problem solving oriented, like serious, like like calculations going on, and at the same time like balancing. Because I think that like you're from one of the cases that like it's the most challenging, like balance to achieve, right? Like because it's a different story if you have a part-time job or flexible hours, or like your job is a little bit like you know what you're doing, you've been like there for many years, let's say, and like you're not like on such like problem solving schedule every day. But that's why like I really wanted to hear your perspective, because like you were like one of the most like severe cases, like to really like like push both
Yeah.
sides simultaneously, and you really rocked it. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing this experience.
No, it definitely is doable. You can do it. You have all the support, and you will build this community. And then at the end, the feeling of like, oh my God, I did it is it's irreplaceable. So you just have to go through it. Who needs to
Thank you.
sleep anyway?
Right, it's overrated.
It's overrated, totally. Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing, Arangso. That like
of
really
course.
means a lot to us, and I really, like I'm looking forward to seeing you soon around.
Yes, definitely. I'll let you know when I'm in Portland.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for your feedback, for like sharing your experiences, like through the program and after. That's really amazing to see that everyone's using their skills, and like it has been helpful to your growth. And I'm super proud to see all of you, like continuing to be like really like amazing in what you do and super passionate and never giving up and, you know, like leading like in so many different spaces. Super proud of you guys. Thank you for joining us today. It really means a lot. With this, we conclude that part of our open day, and we'll move forward to our new students that just finalized their studies this year, and they're just going through the workshop with Nadia Kutireva now about career blueprint, actually, like, and they'll share their presentations with us. And so it's two presentations we'll see, which are just you know, like from this academic year, and then we'll have the opportunity to ask our two students like about like how their experience has been so far in the project. And we have with us today Anastasia Ann and David Ramirez Ortiz presenting. Thank you guys for joining us. That's amazing to have you here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, super excited. Yeah, like we can go like each way, like I don't know, like Anastasia, maybe like if you want to start like with your presentation, and then we'll have like a conversation together. Thank you.
Okay, right.
Good day.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasia An, and I'm an architect, and I'm a graduate of the DesignMorphine program. I'm excited to present my final project, Valtaris, today for you. Every tool, every technique you'll see here, I learned during this program. Valtaris is not just a story about an alien civilization, it's a reflection of my own journey through design, technology, and invention. All right. Before diving in, let's walk through the 5 core chapters of the project. Chapter 1, Prosthesis. Here I developed a character, a Valtaris, a sentient plasma entity that forged its own exoshell. It features a biological core paired with a symbiotic pet. All elements were sculpted in ZBrush. Chapter 2, Corpuscle. This chapter focuses on the Valtaris modular habitat. It was built procedurally in Houdini. Corpuscle serves as a construction unit for larger scale, for amalgamation. Chapter 3, Amalgamation. In my project, amalgamation is a settlement nested within a tectonic canyon wired into underground plasma rivers. Its structure was generated using wasp plugin in Grasshopper. Chapter 4, Kinesis. This details the Valtaris transportation system, including private and public vehicles. And chapter 5, last but not least, Cosmogony. This final chapter presents a master plan of interconnected colonies and their transit networks generated with the nuclei plugin in Grasshopper. Together, these 5 chapters form a narrative backbone of Valtaris, a highly detailed, mechanized alien world we are about to explore right now through records preserved in a digital time capsule launched into space. In their final broadcast, the Valtaris sent a digital time capsule into the deep space, a record of their world, their lives, and the civilization they built. Their home, Diatera, is a planet split by a glowing ring of white plasma erupting from the core, a radiant force that shaped their world. Plasma is modern energy. The Valtaris are born from it. It flows through their bodies, fuels their transport, and powers their cities. But the capsule carries a warning. After an unknown object strikes one hemisphere, a black plague begins to spread. It rapidly consumed one side of the planet, corrupting all it touches. The Valtaris, protected behind the plasma ring, believe they can breach it to study the plague, but what they release is far worse. They unleash the darkness. The infection spreads. Their world falls. Their final message is clear. Remember us, but do not come to Diatera unless you seek the same fate. The first sector of the capsule contains a detailed schematic of a Voltaire specimen, a complex plasma-powered entity combining a robotic exoskeleton with a biological core. Without its mechanical shell, a Voltaris exists in its primal form, a formless cloud of conscious plasma. To contain this unstable form, they develop a helmet-like structure that stabilizes the plasma. This dome functions as the Voltaris brain, but their heart is something else. At the center of their bodies lies a living biological organism, the interface between consciousness and matter. All other components, legs, tentacles, auxiliary tools, are anchored to this core frame. Their segmented legs were engineered to traverse the Diatera's volatile terrain with both strength and agility. They also developed articulated tentacles, multi-jointed limbs designed for the manipulation and environmental control. Among the most remarkable features was the abundant symbiotic creature, a pet. It wasn't just a companion, but an extension of the Voltaire's body, linked directly to its organic core. When separated, the pet could scout ahead, retrieve objects, and reach confined areas. Upon returning, it reattached seamlessly. The docking organism accepts the pet's limbs precisely, forming a unifying biomechanical system. The entire prosthetic system functioned as one. It enabled the Voltaris to survive, adapt, and evolve. It's heavily raining outside. I don't know if you can hear it. If you can, I can close the window because it's so loud right now. The archives also reveal the corpuscle, a modular unit that seeded Voltaire's settlements. Its exterior is covered with white and black, with white panels and black mechanical elements. Each module can reconfigure, expand, or operate independently, adapting to terrain. Its structure consists of specialized modules connected by transition pathways. At the center, the hub and the energy storage bank. Module 1 and 2, biolab for growing hosts and repair bay for exaframe maintenance. Module 3 and 4, launch bay for drones and waste plant for debris processing. All modules are anchored by armatures, structural rolls that channel energy, stabilize, and allow modular growth. The system is enclosed by an environmental envelope, number 2, which protects the interior from external conditions. White panels, known as impact shields, regulate temperature and emit navigation signals. Harvested plasma powers the corpuscle. Pipelines from the energy band supply each module through individual connectors, concentrators. The corpuscle's interiors are open, fluid, and purpose-driven. One of the key modules is the bioorganic laboratory, a 4-level space where organic hosts are cultivated for the Voltairis, who rely on these beings. Each level houses dozens of nutrient-rich tanks, where these organisms grow and await integration. The launch bay acts as a drone port. Drones exit through a circular aperture and return for recharge in vertical docking stations. The corpuscle's modularity enables it to cluster, expand, or even operate alone. Colonies grow vertically and horizontally across ravines, cliffs, or any other surfaces. Flexible structures allow the corpuscles to evolve into something greater. Vast canyon colonies, called amalgamations. The Voltairis often highlight the vital role of plasma in their digital capsule. Plasma flows from the Diatera's core through fissures. Canyons provide access to this energy, key to colony placement. A settlement begins as plasma extraction pillars. As needs grow, clusters and reinforced columns emerge. Over time, more clusters are added. Bridges begin to span across the canyon. Structures rise higher and stretch across canyon walls. The tallest towers mark the final phase of development. Each settlement is built using 5 main categories of structural components, starting from the core load-bearing structures and ending with the spires for communication and area access. These modules form distinct functional zones across the settlement. Lower tiers house industry and energy clusters. Upper areas hold research, command, and monitoring modules. They include research labs, surveillance desks, and environmental control stations. Nearby colonies connect via walkable systems made of propulsion platforms. There are 3 types of public spaces within a colony. First, functional hubs with dynamic bridges and circulation. Second, communal sanctuaries for thought and reflection. And third, terraces and promenades suspended above the city. These terraces are open structures offering space to gather and observe. From here, distant colonies glow, linked by shared plasma light. Amalgamation is a thriving canyon metropolis, a bold fusion of nature and tech. In their vertically built cities, Valtari's transport had to be efficient. 2 systems evolved, one for private use and one for mass transit. Personal roads spiral through the city, linking parking nodes with every corner of the colony. The personal craft, the Ironis, mimics Valtari's anatomy, powered by plasma, with retractable legs and wings. It's built for mobility and exploration. A rare plasma engine and wing thrusters allow precise aerial control. Its modular body centers around a reinforced core with wings, limbs, propulsion, and other systems attached in layers. Drones deploy on neural tethers for scanning and retrieval tasks. These drones act as a sensory nodes, feeding data into the pilot's mind. At the front lies the vision core, a plasma optic that projects spatial awareness onto a holographic display. The display adapts to Valtari's cognition, replacing dashboards entirely. The cockpit is enclosed within a reinforced cage. An aircraft control unit is a semi-organic shell, boosting neural feedback. The pilot is positioned on a stabilizing neural interface platform with a neural pad behind them. Filaments connect through the exoframe into the organic core, syncing thought and movement. Once linked, the craft moves as an extension of the pilot's wheel. The Ironis units dock in modular parking towers called boxars. Each tower consists of stacked repeatable modules. Arriving vehicle land on shared pads. Automated conveyors guide Ironis inward for charging and storage. Spread across amalgamation, boxars keep private air traffic fast and uninterrupted. For high volume roads, public transport used fixed guide rates. These serve predictable high volume traffic. Veltron, a long distance unit, carries passengers and cargo quickly between colonies. Veltron rides plasma guided rails and passes through booster rings that accelerate its motion. Its modular hexagonal carriages extend or contract depending on capacity needs. At the front, the directional control unit that manages direction and alignment across the entire rail grid. At the rear is the impulse engine providing initial launch power. Suspension clamps grip the rail, keeping the unit stable at high speeds. The doors split vertically, opening upward and downward. Inside Veltron, exoclamp restraints suspend Valtari's passengers in rows. Veltron glides between colonies, making intercity travel rapid and seamless. To coordinate travel, the Voltaris built Virena, radial hubs towering above cities. A column in the center of open interior powers a station. A segmented canopy filter natural light. Passengers reach boarding platforms via a two-stage lift to the ring walkway, then the gates. By night, plasma columns glow softly, revealing Verena's structure. As Beltran arrives, it slows, aligns, opens doors, and resumes its journey. Station arms vary between 3 or 4, adapting to road demands. Verena towers act as vital connectors, rising above the dense and urban mesh. Transport is just one thread in a broader system, shaped by terrain, energy, and time. This is one of their maps, shows an agglomeration of linked yet autonomous colonies. Voltaris settlements follow plasma availability, not central planning. Patterns emerge as colonies aligned with underground plasma rivers. The Ateras landscape features fractured ridges and deep rifts. Plasma flows below the surface. The first plasma harvesters appear in deep fissures. These deep drilling structures extract plasma to power colonies that start to form around them. Each colony contains its own transit systems and zones for exploration missions. High-speed transit lines connect colonies into a unified planetary grid. Outside the colonies, ore mines, labs, and facilities operate independently. Voltaris' urban logic is clear, from plasma beneath the crust to full connected colonies above. Colony growth followed several stages. Growth begins near shallow plasma. Transit grids extend outward. As a colony grows, inefficient energy delivery to distant zones triggers new settlements and extended connections. Over time, infrastructure scales to demand, forming a layered territorial system. This territorial deployment sequence showcasing the chronological visualization of layered expansion. Colonies use modular blocks. Connecting and scaling, these blocks form into clustered assemblies, which gradually evolve into fully developed amalgamations. Each one develops uniquely. At their center, energy towers surrounded by dense layers, living metal organisms wired into the Ateras body. And now, let the Voltaris speak for themselves.
Three worlds are down this year. Same story. No one survived.
Yeah, it's like something's moving planet to planet, wiping out everything.
If this reaches Earth, well, let's hope we can still figure out what happened.
We've got an incoming transmission.
Got it. Start decryption. Let's see what's inside.
By the time you receive this, we may no longer exist. This is our final memory, sealed in time. We are the Voltaris, and this was our world, Dia Terra. From its core, plasma surged, shaping our cities, our bodies, our minds. We drew plasma from deep fissures, channeling it into harvesters. What you see now is what we became. Beneath the city, the first infrastructure was born. Over time, we grew upward. We built everything from the planet itself, machines, bodies, entire cities. Our craft soared through canyons powered by plasma engines, fast, silent, alive. We moved not only through air, but along plasma-guided tracks. Acceleration portals fueled each journey with bursts of plasma. Efficiency shaped by centuries of refinement. Our bridges hovered on plasma thrust. We moved across them, calm, steady, alive. We were not just citizens. We were the plasma. It flowed through us. We were its creation and its continuation until the day it dimmed.
Thank you, Anastasia. So wonderful to see the presentation again. It's like a real movie, so cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Really wonderful work. It's been such a pleasure to have you in the program this year. You've been obsessing the detail, like every aspect of the project. You're also like have been a solo team on your own, like for a couple of chapters now towards the end of the program. So you've really like done an incredible, like work. I wanted to ask you about like your, like experience overall. I know that like it has been a lot of learning and also like you yourself like holding yourself to such a high standard. Like you've been like one of the really exceptional students, like from day one. So I really wanted to see like how your perspective and your journey has been like through the program this year.
Thank you for the compliments. I always turn red when you say such things, because yeah, as you said, I have very high standards, and I'm from architecture sphere, and you have to be precise, you have to be thoughtful enough if you deal with architecture. So doing architecture so many years, I'm like, I got, how to say, so stiff, I would say. And this program was completely like, it opened my eyes. When yes, you have to follow the tasks. Yes, you have to create the prosthesis, for example, a corpuscle, but at the same time, you have no boundaries at all. Like you can create whatever you want. And it's like, it's your possibility to become open-minded, to create whatever you want, to stop thinking about how it works on Earth, because you create a world that is not on Earth. Like it can be on another planet, it can be on the moon, it can be in the space. It's like it's amazing program, I would say. And the other thing I wanted to add, the structure of the program. Usually people used to see terms and semesters, for example, in their studies, but here you have chapters, and you go from chapter to chapter, like you creating a book. Actually, we're creating a book at the end, but I mean, the structure is cool. So only positive emotions, yeah, about the program.
Thank you,
Also want to
Anastasia.
that you won best design at Logitech. And,
yeah.
that was really cool. And how was that experience?
It was so unexpected, I would say, because couple words about design program again, because it helped me to realize how strong I am, because I didn't know that. And everything, guys, you saw right now, I created knowing only basics of 3ds Max in the beginning. So I was completely fresh and new to all of these softwares. And at Logitech, I was so again, I felt this stiffness in creativity. So we spent there 5 days participating in that design challenge, and almost 3 days I spent doing something very regular. So I chose to create a keyboard for blind people. And at the end of the third day, it looked like a regular keyboard. And I was like, okay. Also, Tom helped me a lot. He said, you have to go crazy a little bit in your design. And on Wednesday evening, I was sitting, looking at my design and thinking, okay, challenge accepted. I'm a graduate of DesignMorphine. I have to be creative. I have to go crazy. And I went crazy a little bit, but again, in those conditions, because it's not keyboard for gamers, for example, it's for blind people, so you can go too crazy. Yeah, and I was hoping that at least I'm gonna win in the nomination of process. Maybe I hoped deep inside, but I didn't expect that I'm gonna win a nomination of the best design, and that was great experience. Now, I would say I'm interested in industrial design after that challenge.
Yeah, well, that's such a powerful story. Thank you. Like it really it's so sweet to hear that like, like again, like how like and that's like what we want to achieve with you guys because like we've been through the whole process, like the same processes as you, like, like going through, one industry, like going to like other, being just much more interested and open, like to exploring much more than that. And I think that this confidence you're talking about and just like, being proud that like you're part of like design morphing, like and how you're showing up and that you got the skills and you trusted, like your core lead at the time, like even, that like, yes, go crazy, like, taking the next step. Like these are just amazing things to really like hear about like your experience and like how, it's shaping you. And I'm sure that like after the program, you're going to find like a really exciting path for you moving forward.
I hope so. I really hope
Hopefully
so.
in industrial design now that you know that you love it.
And maybe on the next open day, I will share my success story. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many. It's really exciting because they're just very colorful. They're very different stories, like as you see, like everyone just has a
Yeah.
totally different path. And that's what we want from you, like to have the choice, right? Like we just want you to have the choice as you progress, as you grow, like to have these decisions for yourselves. Oh, that's fantastic. How was Logitech in general, like working with the specialists, being in the space with the other students, like outside of the challenge itself, like, like the experience, like of going there and being part of the challenge?
Experience, I mean, that was great, a great trip, especially after 9 months sitting in front of your computer only. It was amazing. First of all, I met guys from the program in life. They are also they're so cool. I mean, at the end of the 5th day, we were like, we have to meet again. We have to, when, where? Yeah. Speaking about the Logitech, I of course, I think everyone knows Logitech. At least they have a mouse with Logi icon logo on it. But when you are there and you talk with the specialists and you getting to know how the processes are going there inside, you start to value more their products because they put so much in it, and you kind of start to want to be part of it because it's amazing. The approaches are amazing. We had tours in their labs, testing facilities. You can see how they test their products. It's not just, okay, we came up with design, it will be made of plastic, okay, so we're ready to sell it. No, usually it takes years, like 2-3 years to design, for example, this amazing mouse. And they test a lot. They test materials. They should be sustainable. They should be, for example, if those products will be delivered by sea, they take into account salt and humidity. So they think about packaging, they think about, again, materials. They do a lot of tests with real people For example, testing their muscles, which muscle will be tired using this mouse in this position and that position. So that's a lot of things. Coatings, materials, paints. I don't know, I can name a lot of things they take into account. That's amazing. And also the other thing that I like, they are also calm and they look wise, like they are so experienced and they're so wise. When you listen to them, you like, okay, this guy is a professional in what he's doing, because they also talk about their experience, how they ended up in this position at Logitech. How do they like this position? What do they do? So much information. Actually, during the challenge, it was helpful because while you're starting working with the textures and thinking about materials and colors, another guy will come by and tell us about CMF, for example, and you're like, oh yeah, I have to take into account this and this. You have to take into account textures, this to, for example, eliminate splitting effect from my curvy keyboard that I designed. I mean, amazing. In the city, guys, if you're gonna have this opportunity to go to Logitech, to Ireland, do this, because that's amazing. It was summer and the weather was beautiful. It was shining, the sun was shining every day. It was warm. City is just amazing. It's beautiful, and it looked like it from movies, because everything looked like decorations. Too perfect, you know, too too clean, too perfect. Cool. Only positive emotions. Amazing experience, I would say. I'm glad that I did that. It was actually a hell of a journey to get a visa, but I finally did. And
I know, like for you, like it took a lot of effort, but I'm so happy like you were able to make it. And that's why we continue like these collaborations with partners that like they value us so much, like the students, like what like the program brings. And that's where we were so excited, because like all these like exactly like specialists that have so much wisdom, so much like excitement for like what they do, passion for the product. They embrace our students. They're so excited to hear what you guys like have, like to as ideas, like to show, like they reach out to us. They are always, like thoughtful about the students and how to make, like the journey easier or alleviate like costs even, like in any way that they can. So it's been an amazing partnership like with these companies, and we definitely like are looking forward to continue these collaborations. And as you know, and you've heard, like especially like with graduations, with like always like whenever there is an opportunity for us to come together, we do that. And now we're even thinking like to have these opportunities even earlier in the process, as we did with Microsoft through the program. So people again like come together like through the beginning of the program. Thank you so much, like for like your feedback, Anastasia. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the rigor and passion, and like all the love that you've put into your project and work. And we'll keep in touch. And I'm very looking forward to next steps and like what like you have been up to these days.
yeah, thank you a lot as well.
Hey, David. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Paulina. Thank you for the invitation as well.
Of course, of course. You're alone today. Your partner is missing, but I'm sure you do the project justice, like to like presenting all solo.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you,
Okay.
David.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. My name is David Ramirez. I am from Ecuador. Wait 1 second. I am from Ecuador. I am currently based in Spain, in Barcelona. I'm a mechanical engineer and a product designer. And today I'm going to present you my project that I did with Henry. He's not here, but I'm going to try to do my best. So the project is called Self-React, and from now on I'm going to be explaining it in from the voice of one of the characters that we designed in the first chapter, that is called Keyboard. So we have spent a cycle traveling through the pains of a dying world, from fragments of body to shelter, to city, to system, to collapse. Each chapter has revealed a deeper layer of life on Setherek, a planet suspended between extinction and endurance. This is the journey of our world and of me, Gebor, last of a species witness to the end. Our theory grew from a single truth, that survival is no longer about living, it's about adapting to decay. Setherek is a system built on loss, an alien beam of energy, our only source of life, which drifts unpredictably across the surface. Where it touches, life blooms. But as it moves, everything burns. Our world was formed through control, but through reaction. Each structure, each organism, and each system you will see today was created in fear of the inevitable. This project is the anatomy of that fear stretched into architecture, transport, and culture. Beneath a dim, barely moving sun, my world, named Setherek, stretches endlessly, the orange desert sand fading into a gloomy horizon. Days and nights blur into one oppressive breath. I've watched energy fade from this place. I've seen life drain from every creature and structure. This place once pulsed with life and energy, but now it stands as a tomb. Silent and loaded with forgotten memories. We are remnants waiting to vanish, and I am the last one to witness the decay. I am Gebor. My body is brittle, barely holding together. What remains is wrapped in a thin exoshell, cracking under pressure. The energy channels within me pulse weakly, struggling to recall what it's like to flourish. The network that once sustained me is failing, is no longer protecting, it only contains. I'm not whole, I'm a residue of something that was, and yet I move drawn by need more profound than instinct. I reach toward the relic we feared. We call it the Osirisk. It waits, quiet, curled it on itself. I offer myself to it, and it opened. Its limb pierced my back, fire flooded my spine. We're united, a symbiotic bond. It fit me motion, and I fit it purpose. There used to be many of us, but time has changed. Some reach toward silence, others disappear into the wind, but all of us are bound by the same fracture. Decay awaits us. This is Setherek, a world split by a force that should not exist. It's a bit slow, sorry. The network didn't rise, it settled, layered like sediments, each drift westward, chasing the returning beam. Cities collapse into one another, each less certain than before. The beam fell from the sky, carving the first crack most east of the map. There, life rose, fossilized now into ruins, a bastion of the past. As the pool moved, so did we. New life flourished. A second crack opened. A colony emerged as we migrated like desperate beings eager for survival. Kalisar followed, fragmenting and expanding. The second pulse thrived, but not for long. Now, the beam anchored west, the last one standing, a final breath, a last flicker of heat and hope. The city's feet fed on the fading energy. The previous two lay dormant, severed and cold. Each beam left behind a scar. Oh, sorry, give me one second. Okay. And through these cracks, energy spread like veins glowing beneath our exoshell. Creatures carved tunnels, others built towers to chase the sky. Each colony reflected the path of the beams growing, fading, and breaking. Each layer of the map serves a distinct role. The underground network is a labyrinth for our transport worms. Above, we have the aerial network, energy exhaustive but precise. The energy beam impact maps how the radiant veins spread across the terrain. Underneath, the forgotten network show two hidden paths buried deep underground and rarely accessed. Lastly, the secret pathways form thin, focused corridors used only by those able to control high-frequency energy. But those days are long behind us. Located deep within the shifting dunes of Sethrak, a seed was cast into the sand, endlessly searching for power, a natural evolution adapted to endure. We call it Mutkara, a hollow temple, shifting its bones with the rhythm of a world it could not control. More than a structure, it is a living entity desperate for survival. Mutkara grew different sacred spaces where we seek control over the last traces of energy. The oldest space within is the Oracle Chamber. Bridges and stairs are formed from the fossilized remains of fallen beings like me, other Gevors. Their bodies turned to stone in the absence of energy. At the end of the bridge, an ancient Gevor is fused to the wall by living tendrils. His skin is cracked and hollow, yet his veins still pulse with energy. He whispers fragments, truths, echoes of a forgotten past. At Mutkara's heart rises the Astrocore reactor, a towering spire channeling cosmic energy from a dying star. It pulls the energy from the sky, reshaping it into something we could exploit. This chamber is both a lifeline and a shrine, where fading rituals seek to preserve a dying rhythm, the fragile heartbeat that keeps the last of our kind alive. Mutkara exists out of different layers. Its exoshell rises like an armor, mimicking the dunes. Layered patterns deflect the harsh winds. Beneath it, semi-opaque walls filter the light into a soft glow. The wall breathes, expanding and contracting to form dynamic protective spaces. At its heart, a vital energy system pulses through glowing conduits. Heat dissipation channels branch out like capillaries, venting the excess heat and preventing Mutkara from collapsing under its own power. Deep within its hold, the Osiris are incubated, suspended in translucent sacs, waiting to be reached. These creatures emerge half-formed, full of need. We call this place Mother. It birthed us, it protected us, and eventually it let us go. We left it safety, we step into the storm, guided by heat, haunted by silence. From the bones of Mutkara, Kalisar grew, not constructed, but evolved, piece by piece. At first, the terrain is nothing but white dust, shifting like an endless ocean. But as the beam saturated the surface, the ground collapses, forming a vast crater that devours everything. Fissures split open, exposing ancient stone, now seared and blackened by the energy's touch. From this rupture, Kalisar took root, tendrils stretched, shells multiplied, chambers formed by repetitions, dwellings filled the hollow skin. It evolved slowly, layer by layer, each one a reaction to a deficiency, each one an act of survival. But survival does not mean balance. Those near the core had more. Those on the edge held the walls, and we waited on the outskirts, forgotten. Each cluster adapted uniquely. Some structures become habitacles, flexible living spaces that retract and expand like breathing organs. Others develop into protective shells, hardening with the layers of exoshell to shield against Cetherak's brutal storms. Some remain exposed, their surfaces soft and raw, growing in intricate patterns to form fluid, adaptable settlements. The entire system moves as one, shifting, growing, and reshaping to sustain Kalisar's ever-evolving form. Even the resting places, even the plazas, they are memories, they are remnants, but they still hold for now. The beam moves, so must we. We carve two networks, one beneath the sands, one above the skies. Beneath the surface, the public network carry us slowly through the burial ground. Massive worm-like creatures tunnel forward, bearing up up to 40 of us. Inside, we rest in translucent pods suspended, shielded, dormant. These creatures burrow slowly, guided by instinct and memory. They dock at the stations, bent by the wind. We crawl in and we vanish. Their interior are soft and dark, pulsing with the warmth of stored energy. We sleep to conserve. We travel in silence. We survive the journey by doing nothing at all. Each worm mimics Mutkara's layer composition, echoing the city's anatomy. It houses energy system, an exoshell, and soft tissue. Necessity made flesh. Above, the private network flickers with faster, more agile flight patrolling the city's upper layer. The jet-like creatures are organic and aggressive. Each hold one of us. Silent and bound to us by nerve. To ride them, we join, flesh to flesh, nerve to nerve. The ancient tendrils enter through our spine. There's no warning, just heat, then pressure. You feel the vein activate, energy fluting faster than your body can accept. They dock at the aerial terraces, bone-framed balconies with soft landing membranes that adjust to the jet shape. It hurts, but we rise, not to fly, but to endure. Each journey draws heat from Kalisar's root. Each takeoff leaves the city colder. These systems are not beautiful. They are barely functional, but they hold us together. The worms tunnel underground, the flyers dock above. Each Gebor is shuttled through its network like blood through the veins. From a distance, it may look chaotic, but it is not. It's intuitive. Every tendril, every tunnel, every vehicle is part of a larger circulatory system. It functions on instinct. As the celestial beam above shift position, Kalisar reorients, and its life support system follows. The beam flickers, the ground forgets our name. What we call survival was only a pause. The dust will take us, as it was always meant to, but somewhere beneath the collapsed veins and hollow skin, a single breath still lingers. I am that breath. I am Gebor, and I have not exhaled. For now.
Thank you, David. Really amazing presentation. It's so great to see it, like again, really inspiring work. Thank you for sharing, for being here today. I'm really looking forward to hear a little bit about like your experience in the program. And I know that you work like so closely with your partner, with Henry, like all year, and wanted to hear about like how has it been for you guys?
Definitely a roller coaster, I would say. Like some days were super amazing, some other days were like we were a bit more like feeling low and stuff. But I think like in the end it was all worth it. Like we really have some low points, but then I remember Mike saying something like just have fun. And then like everything started to shift. And then we said like, okay, I mean, we just have to do what we like. So I think that's kind of the thing with the program. Like I've learned a lot. Like for me, coming from like a engineering background, it was a bit strange to see all these geometries and trying to understand the software. But I think as Sam Atia said, like I mean, you are like you become fearless approaching the softwares, and now I think like I don't know. I feel like I can design everything that comes to my mind. Like I don't feel like that this restriction. Before joining, I was so afraid of approaching like any software. Like for me, it was Fusion 360, SolidWorks, Blender, just for little renders and stuff. But now it's like I don't know. I love Houdini. Grasshopper. I'm still a bit afraid of it. But I still working with it. But Houdini, oh my god, I love Houdini. It's like such. It's really fun to. Presently been learning a lot of Vex, and I don't know. I love it. So I think like that's the nice thing about the masters. You know, like it make you fearless about like design in general.
Yeah. And how has it been also like working with Eva? Like she was your core lead like through the program, like like she has been there for you guys, like like supporting you and helping you out, like throughout the whole progress. Like how has it been like to work with her and like get her support as well as Mike always 24/7, always like available. Like we have the internal joke that nobody knows when Mike sleeps.
Yeah,
So I'm
totally.
curious to hear, yeah, more about this. Anastasia is laughing. She
Yeah.
knows. Um,
No, Eva is great. Eva is great. Like I think like everybody's super supportive. Actually, like meets like before entering a new chapter, I always reach to alumni. I talked to Juan Cobo after chapter one. Diego, who's also from Ecuador. I mean, I talk to him like almost every day because I don't know, he's super cool, and I just he's a really cool guy. And I don't know. I try to reach people, so I have to know how to approach next chapter. And with Eva, it's the same. Like she's always been there for us, and it was super cool. I can't complain.
Perfect. And coming into the program, what were your expectations and were they met? Like, was it something that like, did you expect it like to run like this? Like, what were like, like some of the unexpected turns or, like expected turns like that you were saying through the program?
To be honest, I get into the program because Felipe Fiallo was gonna get into the program, and I was a big fan of him because he was also from Ecuador. So I was talking to him before joining the master. He was, yeah, I'm gonna join. Then, like I kind of wanted to know the guy. But before joining DesignMorphine, I already took like some courses before, like some webinars. So I kind of knew a little bit of what you were doing, but I think what I really like changed, not changed, but what really surprised me is like how you approach different things. Like for example, chapter one was in a way the opening, like okay, you can design anything you want. It's I mean, it's your world. You can imagine it how you want it. But then with the more of this parametric design, like it kind of shift my mind into thinking, okay, I mean, there's other ways to do it, not just manually, those kind of things. And then, yeah, like people in a way, like, I don't know, like being supportive with your own partners. And I don't know, I think that's cool with the, I mean, that's cool about the masters. I don't know what to say. Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to next? Now that you're coming again, like from an engineering perspective, you shared with me a little bit like your passion for 3D printing, you know, like and the design. So what is next for you?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but in chapter 5, I joined an office here in Barcelona. It's called External Reference. They do mostly architectural projects, and it was super fun because I went, like, I saw that the CEO of this company, they were looking for a computational designer, and I messaged him through Instagram. And that day he asked me to go to the office. I went there and he said, like, because he's friends with Aldo Soyaso. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And they work really close, external reference with La Máquina, which is like this big 3D printer. They do like this big 3D prints. And they were actually surprised of the project that I showed there, because it was like this crazy stuff. So and like they said, okay, we need someone that uses Houdini. And I was like, I mean, I know how to use it. I wouldn't say that I'm a pro, but I know how to use it. I love it. I want to keep focusing on Houdini. And now I'm working there. So chapter 5 for me was like working and studying and making things.
Oh, so everything.
It was a bit.
So
yeah.
so you were one of the ones that like got employed like through the you know, like during the program. And it's good, like again, like the community like playing such a great role, you know, like, and if that's again so somebody who has come on reviews, somebody who is connected with us, an educator, a fellow student, you know, like exactly, like that's a great thing of it. But I'm really happy yeah, to hear, because like that's what we've been hearing more and more, like with you know, like students that even are going to offices to interview, you know, like outside of the community even. And they get always like this, like, whoa, you know, like people are just very amazed at the work, you know, like, and they get curious about it. So it's good to always like hear what is the, you know, what is the reaction outside of, you know, like DesignMorphine, because we're also like, you know, it's a big community. So a lot of people know about it, you know, but on the other hand, like just hearing again, like different industries and how they react, like it's always a good info. So yeah, thank you. Like I'm very happy for you, and you get like to work with Houdini, which is exciting. Through the process of the interview, but you didn't know like what to expect, did you? Because like it happened so fast, like what the expectations were about like software, or you know, like what they were looking to explore.
Yeah, totally. Actually, like I was a bit surprised because I thought I don't have an architectural background, and it's an architectural studio. I've done product design before, so I told them that, but they also told me the same thing. You know, like we're focused more on architecture, so you will be focused. And now I'm doing architectural projects, and I love it. It's really interesting things they do there. So yeah, I'm really happy. But the thing with DesignMorphine is like after you finish it, is like there's so many doors open. Like you can go to architecture, to product design, to game design, VFX. Like it's a lot. And for me, I don't know. As I have many interests in this kind of stuff, so it's like in a way difficult to choose a path. But now I think like I'm gonna commit to this for like a while, and then maybe I don't know what would expect. But yeah, super fun. Yeah.
Houdini opens also a lot of doors, so you never know where you end up in a couple of years. We'll chat again.
Totally, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to hear this, David. Thank you for sharing and for, like sharing the projects, like for you and Anastasia. Like it's been wonderful to work with you guys. Really, like it's tough when it's the end of the year, but the only thing that like always makes me feel so much better is that like I know that we always keep in touch and we keep inviting people to all events, like future events. So we keep seeing people from past years and the year that we have. So that's, like that always feels good because it's tough, saying goodbye.
Yes, yes. We also plan to see each other with David because we became friends during this program. So maybe we will see each other in September.
Yes, that's so wonderful, guys. Thank you for being here, being part of this, pushing hard, creating these like insane stories and visuals and going through, like so much learning. Learning, it's not an easy thing, especially when the program is about like computational design, it's about like advancing skills that are, like they're not easy because like you are learning like so much like of the fundamentals of everything that has to do with like technology and design and then building like on it like a stepping stones to achieve really like these advanced levels that are so appreciated from the industry. And I'm happy that everyone and each of you, each and one of you, it's like really finding something that it's exciting for them, and they're going with so much love and excitement, like into really like continuing to learn, and play and design and finding, yourselves. And this is a long journey, like, like this is like something that's going to be with you no matter what, and like you're just going to continue like bettering yourselves and finding even more like opportunities and things that are, the right fit for you for the right time. So happy that, like we were part of this journey for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think that this portion now of the open day, we're coming to like the final portion of like the open day. So if you have any questions for us, this is like a wonderful time to ask them. Don't hesitate to ask us or, like to share some thoughts. We want to hear from you. Also, like I keep, reminding you, I have time like on my calendar on Calendly, so I'm very happy to connect with anyone that is interested in the program and is curious and wants to understand like how it aligns with their vision, their passion. So I'm just dropping in the link here. Don't hesitate to reach out and to talk because like at the end of the day, it's about like again, everyone has like a very different journey, different background, different circumstances. So like again through DesignMorphine, just 11 years of experience in computational design and in this community and with the program itself, like everything I can help with, and I'm here for that. So yeah, drop time if you want like to talk about any specifics, but also if now you have any questions, we're happy to answer. Hey, I think we don't have any questions right now because I think we had a lot of questions like throughout the whole open day and we were able to answer them. So nice. Okay. Do you have any questions also for any of our alumni or students that they can answer? Okay, guess we're good. Okay, all questions are clear. Thank you.
I also
Any
wanted
last
to
words? Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to add, like, I remember what David said. It's easy to talk with, for example, he's Ecuadorian and he talked to Ecuadorian guy. Like, it's easy to understand, to clarify some questions. Just wanted to say, maybe you guys, some of you are Spanish speaking or Russian speaking people, just, I don't know, connect David or me. We can help.
Thank you. Thank you, Anastasia. Perfect. Well, so nice to have you guys on board. Really wonderful. Thank you everyone for joining, for making this day happen. This is like really, really amazing. Oh, okay, we have a question here about like external scholarships or sponsorships. For external scholarships and sponsorships, it's a worldwide thing depending on where you are. I think that that's the best bet, you know, like depending on, you know, like again, like different, you know, foundations that they might be, you know, like able to secure like any kind of funding and support or loans. I think it's like more, you know, like towards like local situation because it's like for us, what we were able to do this year, like in order like to elevate some of, you know, like the financial burden is that last year we were trying to do this like with, you know, like scholarships as much as possible. But this year we were able like to drop the price a little bit of the program. So with this new partner university that we got, the VSU, we were actually able to do that. So, you know, like basically it's like everyone gets a scholarship this year in a way. So it's helpful, guys. Like, so look at the options like on the website and, you know, like discounts. But yes, if anyone also like has an external funding, that's a good question. Well, Jad, I'll check like also in with you because it really depends where you are also. So if we have any students from your area, like we can, you know, ask or connect you and try to help in that way. But it really depends like where you in the world you are, so we can look into that. Perfect. Hey guys, it's been a wonderful day. Wonderful to see everyone, to chat, to connect, and have a wonderful summer. And we'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.